Hey, let's do a sound check. Let's make sure that we're here. Let's do a sound check. Can y'all help me out? Somebody help me out real fast. Are we good? Mic check. Are we good? I almost didn't make it, y'all. I hate to tell you, but I take a shower. I have to take a shower before I make my next move. When I get to the house, I take my suit off or whatever. I do what I do, but I have to take a shower. And if that means I'm running a little bit behind or doing what we doing, I apologize, but I got it. I got that OCD in me or whatever. I have to get my body right, smell right, feel right, because I feel like this. If you feel good, you do good. You do good, you prosper. That's just how it is. What's good with everybody? I see you, DH. Where you been, brother? David Herring said loud and clear, thank you. He said cap, glasses, towel, mug, hoodie. Let's go. You only watch when I wear hoodies, huh, D? DH, if you tune in, log in, and I don't have my hoodie on, he's like, I don't even want to be part of it. I don't want to be part of it. DH, you and I need to have a conversation, one-on-one on the show here. And I'm just gonna make everybody else tune out. DH, can you remind me, David Herring, can you remind me that you and I need to have a conversation? Can you remind me we need to have a conversation, brother? And what I'm gonna do, we'll have it here. You know what I mean? Like right here, it'll just be you and I. And I'll tell everybody to tune out and to mind their own damn business for about 30 seconds. Okay? I don't want to do it right now, but remind me in the program. Remind me. Okay, I want to ask you, I want to talk to you about something real fast. Maybe you can enlighten me on something. Maybe you can give me some information on something. You know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Sorry, I'm lining my lights here in the studio. I almost didn't make it. Trust and believe. You'll probably be able to understand by how the conversation to go today that I'm not prepared. You know what I'm saying? DH said, I will do my best. See you at the pool. Yeah, it's a hot one today. I'm gonna do my wife and I got everything together. We're gonna we filling everything up and getting ready for this weekend. It's supposed to be a nice weekend, I believe, in Cincinnati, isn't it? I don't know. But this weekend, I'm having some people over down here where I live. We're having some people at the house. It's just something that's related to it's some people that I work with here, and I'm just gonna have a cookout for my staff, the people that work with me, and it's just an appreciation meal. They can come, they can bring their children out to the house. We're a family. If you work with me, if you work for my company, or if you work for us, we're a family. So their kids are my kids, and I look at it that way. I'm Uncle Wyatt to a lot of my staff members' children. And that's just how I treat the people that work with me. I never say that people work for me. There's people on this platform who who actually work with me instead of for me. But hey, I just treat everybody like family because I never wanted to go to work every day. I never called anybody boss. And that was that's the way you blow me out of a job. If I gotta address you as hey boss or boss, or I define you as my boss, I've never done no shit like that. I don't know what it is. Call me arrogant, call me whatever you want to call me. But I have raised my children to say my supervisor, my manager of my department, or some old shit like that. I have never addressed anybody, nor have I ever told somebody else, that's my boss over there. Or the boss told me that I couldn't do this, or the boss told me I couldn't. Now get that shit. Supervisor. If you look at your job description, it'll never address your supervisor as your boss. It's your supervisor. I'm technical like that, yes. And if I ever worked for a company and I'm in a and somebody told me I had to tell him that's my boss. Like, you address me as boss. Boss Hog is my name to you. Bruh, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'll holler, Boss Hog, or whatever. Yeah. I mean, shit. I ain't calling, and it's just me. It's like I wouldn't call, it's like, okay, I look at it like this. I ain't calling no woman a bitch. I might think it. I might be like, oh, she's being a bitch. But I am not going to stare a woman in their face and be like, bitch. I don't do it. Even the ones that sink down low enough to call each other bitches and say that they the bitch as if it's some endearing term or it's powerful. I'm that bitch, all that old shit. I never got into that type of stuff. I don't even like women like that. Like, you might be that woman and I not know it, but I don't hang around it. I don't want to be around that environment. I ain't caught up in that type of culture. That's my bitch. Yeah, okay. I ain't seen too many classy women running around calling each other bitches. I just ain't never seen it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen it, and I probably won't see it in my lifetime. And if I do, that'll probably be the last day of my life, because I just don't surround myself in them circles. Now, there's nothing wrong with us having our little things that we have floating in our minds. Yes, I've called women bitches in my head, because everything that you think is not to be said. Yes, I've said a whole lot of shit in my head that's not meant to be said out loud. And bitches is one of them. But I ain't never gonna. I don't address women as bitches. I don't do that. Even with my partners. Even if I'm with my friends, I'm talking about even my throwbacks. You know what I'm saying? Even my throwbacks. I'll never be like, oh, yeah, that bitch told me the other day, man, to call her. All that old shit, man. I ain't never really been like that. You know what I mean? I don't surround myself around bitches. I'm not attracted to bitches. Nor do I hang around bitch ass dudes. You understand? I'm not affiliated with bitches in no kind of form, frame, shape, or size, no kind of way. I don't hang with the dudes that are that way. I don't hang with women that's like that. I have no use for bitches. Just kidding. Somebody logging in right now, like, what is he talking about? They didn't catch the first. They didn't catch the beginning of it. Shaba, he says, what's my favorite word? You bet can't. I bet you can't say it like show. Bitch. No, I all right. That's the only thing that I rock with, Shaba. I do like that song, Blow the Whistle. What's my name? I do rock with that. I do like that. I do. I ain't gonna lie. But I wasn't really a Too Short fan growing up either, because it was that bitch and all that. And I did like that one time. And I know they gonna be like, Wyatt, this is why don't nobody watch you. You too damn corny. I did like Rick James when he was at the BET Awards, when the BET Awards was really the BET Awards, and it was about black entertainment. You know what I mean? But I remember that one time when he said, I don't think she know who I am. I'm Rick James, bitch. I did like that. Now that right there was some funny shit, because you just never knew what Rick James was gonna say. And I think that went viral, and I think that was some shit back in the day. I thought that was very funny. He was probably calling a woman out her name, yes, or whoever, I don't know, but it was kind of funny. Yeah, I'm Rick James, bitch. And who pressed down on that? What's his name? Dave Chappelle? I think Dave Chappelle took that one. Yeah. But yeah, I ain't never been around my fellas, my partners. I ain't never done that, man. And we sitting around, and all men have short, very short conversations about their woman. Let me get this light. We have very short conversations amongst each other about our woman. Men don't discuss female shit. I mean, we don't discuss female problems with our dude. You know why? Can anybody tell me why? Can anybody tell me why, guys? Because we simple, number one. One of the major reasons why guys don't discuss their female problems amongst each other is because we don't have to. We don't have to. We already know what it is. Remember that one time I told y'all a little short story? I'll tell you again. Here you go. used to play basketball. I don't do it Wednesday nights anymore, but I used to play basketball Wednesday nights with the fellas. And it was some strong games, you know. It was some of us was still in shape, some of us was getting out of shape, and some of us were younger boys like my nephew and them who wasn't quite, and they'll kill me if they hear me say this. Their game is not strong enough really to be like, because you young, your game ain't good enough for me not to play against you, even though you half my age. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if you was very, very good and then half my age, I probably wouldn't be out there with you. All right. But since you're not all that good, you're okay. I can handle an okay player, even being twice their age. So here's the thing. It's all fellas. And fellas had this thing where we would relate to one another when it's a female relationship going on. And my nephew came in one day and he was on his phone. You know, everybody's shooting up to try to pick teams and do what we do. He's still outside in the car on his phone doing this on the speaker. He's talking to the phone, not talking to the person on the phone. You know how you get to talking and he talking on the phone and he doing this and he put his head down and he just listening. He listening. And he want to come in the gym. This is his man time. This is his guy time. He ready to come kick it with the fellas. We don't start playing ball till 9 o'clock at night. It's 9:15. He's still on the phone in the car. It's 9:30. He's still on the phone in the car. He's getting, he's lose. He's just like, he's disgusted. He don't have that. He he ready to come kick it with the fellas. He dealing with the female shit. So he's out in the car. I look out. We all look out again. And here he come walking in with his bag and he got his head down. Everybody turn around and go back in the gym. We already know what's up. Him and his woman and got into it. And he gonna come in here and, we're gonna try to put him back in his good spirits and shit like that. And we're gonna talk about the game last night, the hoop game last night or whatever. Talk about the playoffs. He get in and he start lacing up his sneakers. And I look at him and I'm like, nephew, you all right? He was like, yeah, man, I'm into it with the girl. Say no more. We already know what he going through. Fellas already know. We don't have to have this long, drawn out, waiting to exhale ass conversation. We know what he going through. He's at the gym at 9 o'clock, kicking it with the fellas when he should be at home with her, doing whatever they ain't going to do. Watch Netflix or whatever. I already know how that is, bro. So we don't have no long, drawn out. All we say is to one another is, yeah, I feel you. Now, ladies that have a long, drawn out conversation and you want to make sure that we stay at being MFs. He ain't this month, he should be at home. And y'all going to have those conversations and then y'all going to build up each other's anger and tell each other, yeah, you right, girl. You right. I remember when Floyd used to do that same shit to me. Well, fellas don't do that. We don't have them type of conversations amongst each other. Number two, we don't convince our fellas to try to leave your ass. We don't have them, man. You should leave her, bro. You don't have to deal with that shit. Don't no guy have no conversations like that with another dude because we all dealt with shit and we ain't go nowhere. And y'all girlfriends be lying to y'all, except for the ones that ain't got nobody. The same ones ain't got nobody. Them the main ones that tell you, I wouldn't put up with that shit if I was you. I wouldn't be there if I was you. And then them the ones who call you and ain't got shit to do. And you be with your man at the movie theater and y'all be doing some family-oriented shit. And she always by herself. But she ain't going to deal with nothing. She ain't going to deal with no man. She ain't going to deal with none of that. I bet you her ass at night when she call you, sis, and you ain't got time for her, I bet you she wishing I had somebody. I'd go through anything right now, Lord. I don't care. I wish a motherfucker was around here getting on my nerve. It's better than getting on my own nerve. I wish I had a man, Lord. And I love the women who say they don't need no man. Yes, you do. Everybody needs somebody. But fellas, if I'm lying, I need you to help me. I know y'all don't have my back. I know I always be out here on my own and shit. Thank you, AP. I ain't got to read it. You said right. Talk about that. Yeah, okay. I hope you said something good, 'cause I'm looking for some help here. I'm out here all by myself. You know how these ladies can be, boy. They'll cancel your ass in a minute. I ain't watching that shit. I ain't watching. I'm about to watch Waiting to Exhale. I'll holler at Wyatt. He talking crazy as hell. No. Tell me a woman that don't want to be with a man, and I'll show you a woman that may have just gotten out of a bad relationship. But if she has a friend or a few friends that are in a relationship that have a man and they still together and they walk through hell together and be together and do things together and they stay together, you know, your friend is telling you to leave, she probably appreciates how strong you are and the things you'll go through. I don't know. I can't speak for all relationships. But what I'm saying to you is this. I don't want it to sound like, ladies, I'm trying to convince you to just be with anybody or to just go through anything. I'm not trying to convince you to do that. What I'm trying to convince you of is say, hey, I that relationship failed. It didn't work out. I'm gonna find Mr. Right. See what I'm saying? I'm gonna find Mr. Right. That kind of leads into what I was gonna talk about today. A little bit of what I was gonna talk about. I really don't have an agenda. I had a couple things in my mind that I wanted to go over. But because of the Wyatt Live Messenger group, but I got a clip I want to show a little bit. And it's a woman on maybe like TikTok. It's a younger girl on TikTok, and she's explaining to women why. Well, she's trying to explain. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to, I don't want to give it away. But she's trying to ask, why don't men fight for women anymore? At first, I didn't get it. Okay, hold on, Tanika, because that's why I did clean that up a little bit. Hold on. Tanika said, not gonna go. See, this is that part where I tell y'all I have to sometimes put words in. Tanika, look at what you wrote. You said not gonna through anything. I'm assuming you meant not gonna go through anything. Everybody needs someone that's a decent person. Yes, I agree with that. You didn't get that I was saying just deal with anything out of my conversation, did you? You didn't get me. You didn't think I was saying that, because that's far from what I was saying. I'm saying that don't stop trying. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop trying, because there's a lot of good people out here that get passed by for all the wrong reasons. You know, sometimes we judge books by a cover. Like, you look at a dude and he might look like a square, but you don't know he might be a square, but you might have to make adjustments in your life and try to square up a little bit, because what you've been looking for has been everything that you like, and what you like might be everything wrong for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, but like, if you have an addiction to sweets, you know what I'm saying? If you have an addiction for sweets, sweets are not good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sitting out here eating M&Ms every day, eating chips every day, and this and this and that, and it's not good for you, but it's accessible. It's everything that we can get and that we can touch. Our choices may lead us to bad things, even though it's accessible to us. You know what I'm saying? And men are the same way, ladies. You know what I'm saying? So, and I always wanted to ask this question: is it inappropriate for a woman to approach a man? That's a question for another day. But this young lady on this video that I'm going to show you, she's making some solid points. But her question was this. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read some comments at the same time. Y'all know I'm just starting to get back in the saddle of things. But this young lady is asking questions of why men don't fight for women anymore. And I don't mean like fight in the street against another man. That's ridiculous. I'm talking about, she's saying things like, remember when men would show up at the house with roses, with flowers? You know what I'm saying? Remember when men would, um, um, serenade women and tell the world that this is the woman for me and stuff like that. This is a younger girl. I'm listening to this younger generation say things like, what happened to men fighting for women? Women being harder to get, and then the man just doing whatever he has to do to get this woman. I've been out of the game for so many years. I don't know the new game, the new tricks, and none of that. But I do know that the approach is different now. I do know that more people meet each other through social media, and I know how fraudulent social media is. And it's almost fraud on steroids when you're trying to meet someone. If you really think about it, it's very easy for a lot of people to misrepresent themselves on social media. And women, you know, it go for you too. You're just as fraudulent on social media. You don't. It's one thing to look a certain way at a nightclub. It's another thing to show a clean ass house in the background when you know you ain't really living like that. At least some of the young girls tell the truth when they taking their selfies, showing their ass and doing shit like this and this and this and that. And you looking at them and they doing this, and you look at the background, and in their background, the shit is dirty. You know what I mean? You know that they foul because you could tell by looking at the background of the video or the picture. You could tell. Yeah. Yeah, we've had that conversation on here a few times as well. But social media has added fraud amped 10 plus 2. It really has. And the question is, why aren't men fighting for women like they used to? And I think this young lady has a great answer to why men don't do the things, make the sacrifices for women like we used to. And yeah, let me see if I could play the clip. Hold on, let me get this phone line. I think they didn't call. They hung up on me. Sorry about that, guys. Like I told you, I'm getting back in the saddle with things, man. I got a lot going on. A lot going on. Let me read a couple comments and then I'll go to the video. Sierra, I'll start with you. Good afternoon, Brandon. What's good with you, bro? Can you add a few entrepreneurial gems, mostly continue on from yesterday's flow about business relationships and pitching opportunities? I think we should do a show on that, Sierra. I know who you are, Sierra. Sierra comes here for, I don't know how she tolerates me. I'm going to be honest with you, sis. I don't know why you tolerate me because I know why you're here. You understand what I'm saying? I know why you're here. I know that you're here to hear different type of stuff. And you hear, I don't want to call out no names of certain callers, but I'm sure we all know. You hear certain callers call and they talk for 20, 25 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, maybe even longer than that. And we go round and round and round about absolutely nothing. And you stick around. Maybe you tune out and I just don't know about it. But Sierra is basically one of those type of individuals who's probably watched the show for a long time and heard me at the beginning of Wyatt Live, the things I used to talk about. And I really miss talking about those things. But I used to get, Sierra, I don't know if you know this or not, sweetie, but I used to get so much shade for speaking about things that were more empowering to us. It was one of them things where I probably should have never gave up on it, but it was one of those things where I just start losing people, not because I was over their head. It just wasn't interesting. Sometimes you talk to people and they already know what you're talking about and they'll tune out. Sometimes you're talking to people and they have absolutely no idea what you're talking about and they'll tune out. So what I had to do is I had to make a few adjustments, Sierra. I had to learn how to talk about the current events and talk about the things. I have no training at this. I'm just a regular dude who started a podcast. Okay. It all started from my car. So I don't have the experience to be able to do the things and do the tricks that a lot of people who have been trained to do this do. Um, I was damned if I do, damned if I don't. When I talked about putting us in better situations, development wise, economic wise, whatever it was, people called me Sadiddy. They called me different things. When I came back and started talking about some of the politics that really we need to pay attention to, I got a lot of shade for that. I got called a lot of names for that. But it seems like I do a little bit better from being called names when I talk about things that are very obvious to everyone. And we can agree or disagree, because what's obvious to me may be obvious to you, but we may not have the same conclusion. We may not have the same outcome, that same outlook of why it's the way it is or whatever. Politics is dirty and messy. It's very manipulative. I've watched it develop over decades, brainwashing people. And I'm talking about brainwashing to the point where our disagreements lead to dislikes of one another. I don't like that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like the fact that people we have been developed where it's my flag or no flag at all. And what I mean by that is people feel like if you're not on my team, then you the op. And that's just ridiculous to me. That's just how things go. So for me to keep a steady and what I feel is and then at the same time, this is no shade, because let me get a sit for this, because y'all you know how they take things out. They take things out of context. What up, Jermaine? What's up, bro? I also don't want to be that dude that's an ass kisser. I don't want to be the guy that got to talk about things just to make people feel good about themselves and to make them feel right when they wrong. I don't want to be that guy that's sitting back trying to talk politics and I'm saying the same shit day after day after day after day after day. I don't have to report to a boss, nor do my ratings. If I had 2 people on here, I'm gonna make the same amount of money than if I had 2,000 people on here. That's how I feel. So it's not about money for me. It's never been about money. And so I feel like I can be myself here, where if I was under some type of direction, if I had a boss, they would expect me to say enough to keep my advertisers going. I don't do that. And I don't have to kiss anybody's ass. I'm self-sufficient. I'm an independent. Whether people believe it or not, I'm an independent. I've shown it for years. I know a lot of people don't understand that, because when you criticize their side, then you must be an opt. Do I have to go back to that? And then I made a point because somebody said, well, you don't ever criticize the other side. Well, yes, I do, kind of, sort of. Some people will say, no, you don't. And then that's my return to that. Here's my return serve to when they say that. I say, well, why you need to hear my point of view? You've been listening to negative shit about the other side all day. Don't you want to hear another perspective? I mean, every other show talk dirty and down on the other side, right? So why do you need another show to talk? And do people really need lecture of the same thing? I'm not built like that. I don't want to go. What if you had to go through school like that? What if you took math, Bell 1 through Bell 7, and all the math was the same game plan, class to class to class? What if you had to go to, what if your class was reading or, something like that, biology, and you did the same shit for 7 Bells? Damn, Miss Johnson, when you going to teach us some reading? When we going to learn some history? I'm not that guy. If I hear something negative about somebody all day, you want me to back it up with the same shit? You've been listening to that all day. That's just me. And then, you know what? Here's the good thing about that approach. You don't have to be here. I don't watch shows that I don't like. Like, this is not like 1978 where they only had 3 channels and you just got the fuck it. I'll watch. Damn, man, my 3 sons, I don't like this shit, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna learn to love it. I wasn't married to the TV when I was a kid. I wasn't married to things that I didn't want to be part of. I didn't pay attention. I didn't watch it. Nobody forced me to do things that I didn't want to do. That's probably why I do what I want to do to this day. I mean, to a certain extent. But independent thinkers feel that way. A lot of us feel like, I started out by telling you I don't have a boss. I don't call people boss. Ross, did baby kids call yet? Not yet, bro. Not yet. But anyway, and here's the other thing, Sierra. I even changed my attire. People had even told me to my face, not in a bad way, but on the program, or when I'm out in Cincinnati, whenever I go to, whenever man, I used to watch your show, man, but I had to go back to work and blah blah blah. I understand, but then I had a couple females that came up and told me one time, Mr. Wyatt, I watch your show, but you apologize too much. You too apologetic. Stay what you say and just stick to it. Like, I know I stick to it, but sometimes I have to. I'm not saying things that a lot of people really want to hear. So I got to kind of have a little diplomacy about how I approach my what I say. And then I had some people tell me, man, I ain't about to watch that dude. He got on a suit. And it was like, what, I got to come on here and do a podcast and talk black people shit, issues and shit, and I got to sit here and be dusty to do that? I can't sit up in my suit from work and have a conversation with my people. I can't tell you the same conversations that I have today. The same type of approach. We can do this, we can do that. People will look at you as being bougie because I got a job. I got things I have to do. And I didn't really want to take a shower before I went on the air. So I kept my clothes on and all that. And people was like, oh, no, dude, he bougie ass dude wearing suits and shit, trying to talk down to the community. How? How am I talking down to the community when I'm trying to tell the community how to get some things done? I wouldn't have to say it if it was being done. Okay, I wouldn't have to tell you how, or I wouldn't have to say certain things if it was being done. It ain't like I was telling people. I wasn't preaching to the choir. I wasn't preaching to people who were already doing what we were talking about. That's all I'm saying. So I've had to make a whole lot of adjustments. I had even thought about doing another show. You know what I'm saying, Sierra? I really thought about just doing a show but all of this stuff, I don't think people understand. I have a hard time sticking to one particular thing when I'm talking. Like, that comes from not being trained as well. But I don't think people understand the time that it takes to do what we do here. Like, Emmanuel takes this time out of his day to do this. I take this time out of my day. We don't get paid. The radio dude get paid to sit there. That's not shade. This is a fact. They get paid to sit there and to hold narratives and to tell you certain things and to get reaction and do all. They get paid for that shit, okay? Let them fall off like my numbers fell off 4 or 5 years ago and see what happened. I never trust anybody that got to tell me something just to keep a job. I ain't never doing that. I'm talking about, and I know y'all think that's shade. I'm talking about anywhere. I'm talking about on a job. If you got to just make me, if your job every day as my supervisor is to come in here and make shit tough on me on purpose so it'll look like you doing your job, we ain't gonna make it. This is not the job for me. There's some people that micromanage. There's some people that get all up under your skin, want to try to make you out to be the example, want them to be all tough. They looking all tough and acting like they really down on their job and they slapping and making sure things stay in order when it's not even necessary. Some people don't even know how to manage properly. They don't know how to get the best people so they can do less, themselves. They sometimes hire bad people so they'll look like they doing a job. I know that sounds ridiculous to some people, but dysfunction is a normal thing for a lot of people. They need chaos and dysfunction around them in order for them to feel relevant. I keep telling y'all, we got a lot of leaders in our community that's like that. They can't wait for the next shooting. You might think that sound harsh, but they're only relevant when some bad shit happen in the community, and that makes them feel very important. I'm sorry. I said what I said. Now, there's some people that are genuine. There are some people that are very genuine about it. But how I tell if they're genuine or not is, what do you do away from when the tragedies are happening? How do you press down on the things that's going on around you when there's no cameras around? I know plenty of y'all and already seen me out in public. I don't do interviews on television. I don't do interviews on in tragedies. I don't do that. I don't go on Channel 5, Channel 9, Channel 12 and talk about the things that I've been able to contribute in the community. I don't do that type of stuff. Now, that's authenticity. That's me just being who I am, because I do the things that I do just for just because they need to be done and because that's just me. I got friends that'll tell you that, like, man, you need to probably tell people they would appreciate what you do more. No, they won't. We live in an unsatisfiable world. No matter what, you ever dealt with somebody, no matter what you do for them, no matter how many times you've been there for them in their collapse, they're never satisfied. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people here have dealt with that. Have you ever loaned somebody some money and when you see them again, like every time you see them, they don't have your money? And I'm talking $20. It could be some short ass money. $20, $50, whatever. And do you know that they'll end up being mad at you? They're not really mad at you. It's just a form of manipulation. If this motherfucker think you're mad at him, he ain't gonna ask me for his money back because I ain't got it anyway. But they might have it in their pocket. They just don't want to give it to you. They don't want to give it back to you as easily as you gave it to them. Because everybody ain't gonna be for you like you are for them. And that's what I've ran into a lot doing all that community shit. You understand? I've done a lot for my community, and I wait for one of y'all leaders to come up and put me on blast and say, well, what have you done, Wyatt? I can't wait. And you know what I'm gonna say? The first, I'm gonna give you a piece of my little attack. I'm gonna say, I've done a hell of a lot more than you have, and you get paid to do some shit. I don't. You get paid to organize things. I don't. Who was that yesterday who said something about the young boys? I think it was Fame or somebody like that. And I made a comment and I was like, I don't know who it was. Somebody asked me something about maybe it was CK. Fame and CK's conversations they're this far apart. They're that far away from one another. So it might have been, I don't know. It could have been Twin. It was between CK and Twin. I'm not quite sure. But, it was Twin talking about Larry Hoover. And I was like, well, bro, I don't mean to be disrespectful to the love and to the respect that you have for the Hoover guy, but he's not going to come out of jail and be relevant to the streets like you think he is. That's small window. I'm not going to have a long conversation on that again. I'm just going to tell you that same principle follows I'm trying to say this respectfully. Larry Hoover getting out of jail is not going to be relevant to the streets. And that's what I was trying to make my point on Twin when I was saying that, because it came up and I was like, somebody was like, you should have conversations with the young folks. And I'm like, I can't have conversations with the young folks of today. I had conversations with young folks 15, 20 years ago. There was a moment there that we could save them. Right now, I'm just being honest with you. If you don't like my honesty, please log off. My honesty is my truths. I can't have those same conversations with people today, not the youth. These 15, 16, 17-year-old guys aren't even on the level of 20-year, 15, 16-year-olds from 20 years ago. It's not even the same conversation. And when I told you yesterday, I think I told Twin, what would I be if I was out here in front of these kids, I'm a lick. And what y'all don't understand is that's true. If I'm not bearing gifts, they're going to take some shit. That's why you see what you see out here. Because guys can't, they don't have a lot of leadership from the crib. Now, I don't mean the crib that they live in. I'm talking about the crib that they was born in, the cradle. They have not been led in a way where they will respect an elder man. They just haven't been, they're not molded that way. So yeah, I'm a lick. And Larry Hoover get out here talking crazy. If he was ever to get out, he'll be a lick too. He come out there trying to mess up somebody's money. I hate to tell y'all, they ain't having that shit. They either gonna send his ass back to the joint or they gonna send him 6 feet under. That's just how it go. That's just how it go. So, what was that? I'm sorry. I said I was gonna read a couple comments and I got Fame came in. And for those who don't know, a hot plate, I'll make it swell up if your gas get clipped. Boy. Dante, what's up, bro? Let me read yours. Fame, you need a thesaurus to read his shit sometimes. I don't know. Let me go to Dante. Dante said, most people that run their mouths about you haven't done anything for the community. Amen to that. The only thing they did was vote for a Democrat. I didn't see that part coming up. I'll agree with the first part. There's people out there that probably voted independently or Republican, and they probably had some bad things to say about me or, us too. I don't know. I really don't know. Kim Moore Everhart says, I heard those exact words on a different podcast yesterday. They said, take care of you first. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent. Okay, sorry, I got a text from my daughter. I was just bringing it up. Okay, there we go. Sierra says, I've earned an associate degree in Larry Hoover studies from listening to Twin's calls. I got a PhD. I've been listening to Twin on Larry Hoover. That's why I gave him the time. You understand what I'm saying? I gave him the time because Twin been talking about Larry Hoover for 3 years. Okay, and he has this perception that Larry Hoover is going to change the streets of Chicago. It ain't gonna happen. It's not going to happen. And unfortunately, let me tell you why it's not going to happen. Because it's not designed for it to go away. Are you trying to tell me? Because here, let's do the math. I'm a math guy. I'm a numbers guy. If 10% of Chicago is a crime element, why wouldn't it be so hard to wipe out 10% of crime when crime is somewhat organized? Now, if crime was disorganized, it would be a little bit harder to connect the dots because you got all this going all these different ways. But what a lot of people don't understand is drug activity is what leads major crime in these cities. And the easiest thing to do is to stop drug activity because there's not that many plugs going into metropolitan cities. Maybe 3, maybe 4. You trying to tell me they can't infiltrate a plug? You can't stop. You can't. All you got to do is listen. I ain't gonna do this because for the protection of my life. If you want to shut down Walmart, do you think you go to corporate Walmart and start hitting them with sanctions? No. Sanctioning Walmart means absolutely nothing because they can afford to take the lick. They can take the lick. You can sanction them, you can fine them. They get it all the time. OSHA and all of them are fining Walmarts and Targets and all that old shit. They just can afford to pay for those fines and penalties. What do you have to do to shut down a place like a Walmart or something like that? And I'm using Walmart just in this argument because it's a major distribution of product, right? So what do you do if you really want to shut a major product place down, a supplier? What do? You take away their customers. You take away their customers. You don't take away the plug. If you have no customers, you can have all the product in the world. But if you ain't got nobody to sell it to, your business is dead. I don't care what kind of business it is. It's dead. Even if you took 50% of the product off the streets, they have a hard time moving product and things get messed up for them. People start coming out. Exposure starts to happen. You can't tell me they can't stop this war on drugs if they really want to. If a guy like me can clearly see how you stop the war on drugs or how you stop the war that we call the war on drugs, if I know how to do it, I know the government knows how to do it, but it's not meant to be stopped. It's meant to be what it is. And the only way you're going to stop it is if you take away its clients. That's how you shut down business. Okay, it's sort of like what they're trying to do with Target with the boycott. Kind of ridiculous to me, to be honest with you. I think there's some self-motivation reasons in that, knowing where it's coming from. But it's the same principle. And that is, if you take away a company's customer, then you can get them to do what you need them to do. And I say the same thing in the drug game or in illegal or in organized crime. If you take away the customer, who do they have? Who do they sell to? And then they end up selling and doing drugs. They service each other. That's it. But who am I? I'm nobody. All right. Looks like there's some other conversations going on here amongst each other. There you go. Jerry said they don't want it to stop. I know. Twin says it's not organized anymore. Be for real, Wyatt. What's not organized? What's not organized? Everything about crime is organized. It's just a matter of what level you're on. Even on the streets, it's organized. I can't go across that street. That's such and such spot. I'm not gonna sit here and talk no crime shit with y'all all day. But I'm just telling you. There's people that understand how that process works. Of course, it's organized. It's organized. Listen, it's so organized that there's probably, and I hate using the word probably. This is just a figure of speech, and it's a little bit of an exaggeration. But on the police department, there's just as many people working for the police department on the streets as it is on shift number one. They have so many undercover narcs, and I'm talking about CIs working for them on the streets, and they could cancel all that shit if they really wanted to. But they're not going to stop doing it because they already know they already know there's somebody standing in line to replace the next person in the drug game. They already know that, and they give it time to develop. If you take the head guy in and don't give him time to prep somebody for his position, you could end the dope game right then and there. If you give a bunch of drugs to some unprepared, unorganized people in your city, it'll go to hell. It'll be a lot of shooting and killing amongst each other. It just wouldn't work out. So in order for that organization to stay strong, and y'all know I'm saying some shit right now that could really get me in trouble. You do know that. There's some people that he need to shut up. He need to keep that shit he needs to shut up. That's the advantage of not being a very big program. I'm just being honest. This is one of the major advantages of not being a major platform in the city is I could pretty much say some things that a lot of people can't say. Once again, I'm an independent individual and I don't want to be big. I don't want to be the biggest podcaster, the biggest guy in this space. I don't want to do that because I can't say what I want to say once I get bigger. Have you seen some of the guys that go to jail these days? Have you seen some of the guys that end up with charges for nothing? It comes from the shit that they say on platforms like this. They catch cases. The only thing with me is I tried to explain who I am and what I do early in my career of podcasting. That way people will be like, he said what? He did what? How many young girls? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I've been talking against this shit for 5 years. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to be a Bill Cosby. I don't want to be any of that type of stuff. And that's what happens when you get people that try to change things that aren't meant to be changed. Now, they got a lot of people that do the bidding and do the work for them on the ground floor level too, and they get paid in what I call fun bucks. What else? Clout bucks. Make them relevant. They say the shit that need to be said, so everybody, and they love it. A lot of people just talk about shit that you already been talking about all day. A lot of people talk about things that just make them right. So they'll look like geniuses. And I mean, I see it on a lot of different little podcasts across the nation. You know, what is Al Sharpton saying to you guys that he's never said before? How much oppression and how much wrongdoing can you talk? He's been talking for 40 years about the same shit. And he's had plenty of people in spaces that could make changes. You've never asked him or never called his show or never been in a position to ask Al Sharpton, well, why is it that when we get in power, we never make the changes that need to be changed in that space? Why don't we ever do that? And what do they say? Have you ever been able to ask that type of question? Like we just have no power whatsoever? We all know that that's bullshit. What happens is like I told you with the council. You got everything you need. Y'all love it when I say that, I know. You got everybody you need sitting at every space at council in Cincinnati. And what was my famous line? I said, you got everything you need. Now let me let me ask you, when it's time for the business, they're gonna choose business over the people. And they did that. They tried to do that over in Hyde Park, and look at what happened. Now what's going on? Well, we won't be voting for them. See what I'm saying? Because they put the business over the people. And that ain't gonna that don't happen nowhere but in the black neighborhood. I don't care what party you in. I don't care what party you in. Those politicians will put business over the people every time. Remember when they got in city council and they were able to lower property taxes because they had this little thing where they said, well, we're going to up it for a little while until we pay something off. And the only person on that damn city council 3 years ago, I believe it was, the only person that said, yeah, let's go back to the original property tax rate. The only one that did it was the Liz lady, Liz Keaton, I believe her name was. She was the only Republican. She was the only person on there who said, let's give the people a break on these taxes. Everybody else did the business thing. They didn't care nothing about the people. They made the business move. And see, and if you don't believe me, and I know a lot of people don't like to believe or don't like to think what I'm saying is true, just go back and look it up. You could have saved the taxpayers of Hamilton County a lot of money. And then what happened? 6 months later, everybody got this enormous tax bill for their property in Hamilton County. 6 months later. And I was sitting here talking about it prior to the hype, and nobody wanted to hear it. You're still talking about the same guy you was talking about 6 months ago. And then somebody had mentioned, I'll leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone because it's going in a wrong direction for me. We're easily convinced of certain things. I heard a lady, I was getting out, I take a shower and I was getting ready, and I heard a lady on the radio. I try to hear at least 15, 20 minutes of the show before I come on, and I'm getting ready so I can do my thing. And I hear a lady who closes out the show on the radio today. And I said, well, damn, I wonder if she's going to get hate for that. Because it's exactly, I know y'all hate it when I say this. 2 years ago, I tried to tell y'all what the Tulsa massacre, what it really was. I lived in Oklahoma. I went to school in Oklahoma. I know the real story of what y'all call the massacre, Tulsa massacre. You don't really want to hear it because the same people that put the Roots book in your face and all these myths about how we was dealt with and all that old shit, you don't want to hear the truth because it don't fit into all the other shit that aligns with what you've been taught. Tulsa massacre, anybody ever want to go on a ride with me about what that really was? We can have that conversation. I had one of my favorite teachers. I was in the 7th grade. He was an Indian in Oklahoma. I lived about 20 minutes out of Lawton, Oklahoma. I went to Eisenhower Junior High. One of my favorite teachers was a guy who wore Wrangler jeans, stinking ass cowboy boots. Looked like he'd been out in the field. Checkerboard shirt, and he wore a cowboy hat, but he was a pure Indian, just like what you seen on TV. He looked like he rode a horse to work every day. But he was my favorite teacher, and his class was history. You remember when we used to have to carry those little books around? And it was like in reading, you would get a green, red, or a blue, or a yellow, or whatever. It told you grade or whatever. And in history, you had different books. Everybody had like Ohio history. Well, in other states, I'm going to tell you something you don't know. It was Oklahoma history. And Oklahoma history had absolutely nothing about the Tulsa riots, the massacre, the Tulsa riots, and all that old shit. Had nothing to do with it. All I did to learn about it was hear it from someone who had relatives that was involved, and it happened to be one of my junior high teachers. The best way to learn something is sometimes through the economics of what happened. Like, you got to pay attention to when they say things like, we had all these banks. We had all this and this and this and that. What a lot of people didn't know is where that money came from to establish all of that. Where did that money come from? It was co-op through the Indians. The Indians put up the money for all of that. Not all of it, but the majority of it. And Indians at that time were considered to be people of color. So a lot of the businesses that y'all claim that black people lost and all that old shit, a lot of them were Indian companies, businesses. But yet it's just like roots. When you're taught a certain thing, you attach yourself to it. And then that's what you teach. And then that's what becomes our truth. And then that's what we begin fighting for. And then they start attaching all this other fraud shit to what we attach ourselves to. And then we start believing one thing so we can believe the other, and it start connecting. And now we just oppressed and everything fucked up for us. Nobody ever went through what we went through. That's how we think. And it stopped us even in 2025 from thinking and feeling and doing a certain thing. You know, I listened to a guy for years, couple years, talk about Africa all the time on the radio, dude. What's the Pharaoh dude name? Pharaoh? What's it? Don't he talk a lot about Africa? And you know what I mean? Saying you would have thought that motherfucker lived there for at least a week or two. I would challenge this. Has he even been there? Just asking. I'm not up for no challenges. Just look up your things yourself. I live there. All right. I've been to the museums. I've traced certain things that go back to making it make sense for me. All I'm here to do is to give you the information. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to show nobody another way. I'm just trying to give you a path to some truth. That's all. Find out where the financing came from, and you'll find out who was in charge. I ain't up for no Hollywood budget ass movies trying to tell me nothing, because they don't research everything that needs to be researched. They research enough just to fit a certain narrative. I sure will be. And I know there's probably one or two movies out there. I know there's probably one or two series out there. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet. But I sure would be glad to see when they start putting more positive black images out here, whether it's a movie, a series. I'm not talking about Black Dynasty and that bullshit. You know, I'm not talking about fictional movies. I'm talking about real stuff. We got too many successful black people in this country for there not to be stories and stories and movies about it. Damn it, I don't give a damn. Make another Barry Gordy, make another Motown or something. And they don't have to be entertainment. You got a black billionaire that paid off the entire university, a HBC university graduating class, who paid off the entire senior class student loans. Damn it, put it in a movie. Come on, Tyler. Come on, Tyler Perry. Come on. Show me a movie where we got it out of the mud and we're now employing us, because there's some of us that do that. Let me go to the phone line. My apologies. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with? Uh-oh. Hold on.
Yes, this is CK. I'm sorry.
CK, I'm sorry, brother. I had you cut down. I apologize, brother. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I wanted to shoot a show like you said, positive images. We could do a series like me and a production about if they lived. Like the superstars that we lost in their primes.
Yeah.
We could like Marvin Gaye. We could do like if they live. Cause just imagine the things he would accomplish, and then we could write. We got good writers, so we could write like episodes if they live. We could do episodes on Tupac and Biggie if they live.
Okay, let me say
That's the
this.
positive aspect of
Okay.
what you're talking about,
Yeah,
sir.
it is. But I gotta say this to you, and I know, I got love for you, genuinely. You've been calling, you my dog. You've been calling for a while, and I don't have no problems with anybody that called the show, right? And I'm just gonna say this because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to feel like I'm trying to dish you or nothing, CK. It's not dissing you. It's our train of thought and our thinking. I'm tired of watching the Temptations. I'm tired of watching Tupac. I'm tired of watching Biggie. I'm tired of watching the Diddy stories. I'm tired of watching entertainers. When are we going to get people that are not so into the entertainment? The entertainment business is a slave business. It is a falsified business that shows fake success to my people. I need my businessmen to be on front. I need movies like Boomerang, where Eddie Murphy is a vice president of a makeup company that's owned by blacks and it's driven by blacks.
Hold on, Mr. Wyatt. Did you say Boomerang, Eddie Murphy, Robin Givens, Martin Lawrence?
Yes. It was a funny, good movie, and it showed successful
You're talking
black people.
about one of the greatest movies ever made because of the points you made.
Absolutely.
Because that's one of the few movies that show us in that light.
Right. And look, my favorite movie actually is Spike Lee's Malcolm X. That's my favorite movie.
Okay.
That's my favorite movie, but I didn't seen it. I know the story. I don't need it again. All right. I got it. I can show it to my kids. We got it. Now it's time to start showing the things that's really happening in our country. I mean, in Black America, we have very successful people that go so far under the radar that people don't know how successful we are. So it's easy to believe that things don't happen good for people if you don't show good people. If all you're going to do is show struggle, then the whole thing is a struggle. And that is more motivating. The same way you can motivate somebody by setting the bar so low so the expectations are not high. That same person that doesn't have high expectations, they don't aim for much. But if you show people in front of them, people that are successful, you can do it because they did it. I'm sorry, man. People don't like me having these type of conversations, but there's probably a reason why people don't want you to hear that.
Yeah, Mr. Wyatt, I called you about something you made, a statement you made.
Go ahead.
On the platform.
Okay.
You said how to stop the drugs coming in, right?
Okay.
Now, I challenge your theory because this country, sex, drugs, and guns. You're not getting away from it. That is the essential. You can't. That's like getting rid of Ronald McDonald. He runs this shit. He's number one. Ronald McDonald has been king. He's been billion since we was kids. Remember, we was little kids and he had 40 billion.
Well, let me ask you.
So you're not getting rid of Ronald McDonald, sir.
Why not?
He's still here. You know.
No.
Hey, the king is the
just
king.
as easy as you said what you just said, I need an easy answer of why can't we get rid of?
Because he's a conglomerate. He's a conglomerate.
Okay.
Gargantuan. You can't stop these people. They run shit.
Okay.
Man, you know this.
Wait a minute. He's a conglomerate because of what? What makes him a conglomerate? Because he sells 1 billion hamburgers a year, right?
Right.
So let's just say, because that's what's on the sign, right? 1 billion hamburgers a year, right?
Right.
So what if we took him down to 500,000 hamburgers a year, and chiseled down to 250,000 hamburgers a year, down to 100,000 hamburgers a year? Is he still a conglomerate at this point?
That's my point. We consumers, we need to consume the Big Mac, sir. We need the double cheeseburgers. We need the chicken McNugget. We have to have it.
No, we don't. Must produce. No, we don't. We produce those people to have it. If you take the production of the people that got to have that nonsense away, then that conglomerate is no longer a conglomerate. We are the sheep of what they doing because we produce it. We have sheep after sheep after sheep, and we give it to that conglomerate.
Sir, if you can't, we know McDonald's is poison. And if you can't stop people from putting needles of heroin in their arms, crack of smoke in their lungs, you can't stop them from eating Big Macs. You can't stop. This is who we are. Accept who we are. So let's keep this is who we are as a culture.
No, it's not. Is that you? Do you get high like that? You shoot dope?
You know this. Remember, I just told you I want one. I'm trying to get 1 day of sober for sobriety. I never felt it. I want to know how it feels to be sober for 1 day in my life. For once in my life.
We ain't doing it today. You tripping, bro. You tripping.
That's, I don't know what I'm saying. I get the Big Macs too. I'm addicted to Whoppers. It ain't that many Burger Kings around, but they have a hold on us.
No, they don't.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
They do, but that don't mean that they have to. That don't mean that.
When was the last time you went to Subway, Mr. Wyatt?
When was the last time who?
You went to Subway.
Subway?
Yes.
Well, first of all, let me just say, I don't mean to be funny. I don't eat Subway. I don't even like the smell.
Thank you.
I don't even like the smell of Subway when I go in. And Subway is not as healthy as you think they are. It's definitely compressed.
Respect goes, hey, sir. I respect you now. I respect you a lot more because you don't mess with yourself. Because I have a Subway addiction, and you're right. I'm addicted to Subway and Taco Bell. Those are my two afflictions. Oh, it's food on the food, not the drug. But food, because they was cheap. Remember, $5 foot long, and the tacos was 59 cents. So this is the same thing as drugs. They get you hooked up, and then boom, now they jack up the price. You can't stop. The people, American people, are hooked on fast food. Sir.
Okay. Well, you're talking about fast food. I was talking about some fast food is not my biggest problem in America for my people. All right, it's one of the
it's drugs.
Right. But that ain't got no. You talking $5 footlongs and shit, man. Come on, bro.
It's the same.
No,
Wyatt.
it's not.
The same.
No, it's not.
Listen,
no,
sir, we from Cincinnati. Yeah. Drugs, addiction is addiction. They both kill you. Death is death. Okay. You do not need to consume that. Just like you say, you don't eat Subway because you know it's poison.
Let me ask you something. Let's get to
salmon.
Let's get,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, let's get to it. Let's make it make all sense. Let's make it make sense. Let me ask you something. How do most people end up becoming drug addicts?
As a teenager,
okay.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. So basically, the circles you surround yourself around, right? The choices that you make to your circles, right? Your surroundings.
Right.
Shouldn't that be changed? So if we can take those bad circles away, your kid may not be prevalent to becoming a drug addict because they're not trying to impress certain people. If these people are taking care of their home and keeping their kids out of the way of this type of peer pressure, wouldn't it be easier to start controlling the things that hurt us the most, which is drug activity and the theft? And because a lot of people do things because they are thirsty for drugs. They do things you thirsty for selling it and you thirsty for using it.
Yeah, this is a part of our culture, Mr.
No, it's not. Bro, what are you talking about?
Get rid of drugs.
What are you talking about?
Drugs have been here before me and you was even conceived, sir. They've been here and they're not going anywhere. You cannot end drugs when it's a part of our culture. It's a part of America, the foundation. It's the foundation. Cocaine. That's the cash is king, but cocaine runs everything.
Right.
Cash is king, but cocaine runs the nation.
Okay.
You got a lot of people powdering their nose in the country.
Okay.
You know about this.
Okay.
Remember, look at every guy you knew, they all did powder. Now, we was the only smart guys not to do it.
Not my buddies.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. You might have a point there when it comes down to they all do cocaine, because I believe that a drug dealer and a drug abuser are the same person. They both have they have the same addiction. I hear what you're saying, but what I'm also telling you is, if we refocus the things that we prioritize in our communities, drug selling would not be a priority. If we focus more, so if we don't have sellers to sell to people that want drugs, it might take away some of the drug usage, because most drug addicts end up becoming drug users because of somebody convincing them to do the drugs through peer pressure, right?
Yes.
So why don't we work on it, trying to get our kids not to even attempt or do drugs? Do you know what they're doing right now? Do you know in Ohio, I just read in Cincinnati.com this morning that they're upping the amount of weed and drugs that you can carry openly, and it's up to 2.5 ounces. Bro,
that's a good thing. That's very good.
That's not
I like
good.
That.
What are you talking about? You don't. It is
that protects me as a civilian.
See, this is what I'm
protection.
talking about. This is why you don't understand, because you think it's good for a gateway drug to be open and available and accessible to you. You okay
I'm
with
on that drug, sir. I'm on it. So why wouldn't I want it to be more accessible to me? I don't want to go to jail.
Because you can't be selfish in a situation like that. All right, you can't be selfish in a situation like that. That opens the door for our younger kids to get involved in things like that, CK. And when your younger kids who don't make the same type of decision as some older kids, they abuse the situation and they get in bad situations and they make bad decisions and they become drug dealers or drug users.
Not if you got two daughters that graduated from college
and you don't have a house
so they know that they're not going to use drugs.
And it comes
they
from
listen to you.
And it comes from a house that don't smoke. See what I'm saying?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. I'm the opposite. That's why I say I listen to your show. I'm the exact opposite. You inspire me to do the right thing. This is what you do to a lot of people that listen to your platform. People not like you. They aspire to be like you. They want to be like a father like you, a husband like you, graduate from college daughter. We can't do that.
Yes,
we did
what are you
fathers.
talking about? People, bro, I am not a unicorn, bro. There's millions of black men just like me out here doing exactly what I'm doing, CK. I don't know. But they don't have a platform
out of Cincinnati, sir.
They don't.
Influence is right here on the concrete on the ground.
They don't. But I get y'all crazy. Y'all drive me crazy with this we ain't shit stuff. We all victims to this bullshit of drugs.
No, I'm talking about me.
Listen, first of all,
I'm a retarded.
Let me just say this to you, bro. I'll bet you $1 to a donut. More white people in this country fuel the drug economy than black people do. But when you think drug game and when you think drugs, you think black people. And that's a brainwashing. That is a serious brainwashing.
I understand my best customers are Caucasian. I understand what you're saying. All my customers are Caucasian. Like you said, us dealers are the users. There's no difference. So if you sell it, you are a user. If you use it, you are a seller. It's the same thing. So if you sell heroin, you might as well put it in your vein because you're putting poison in the community, sir.
I agree with you. What else you got, CK? Man, what else you got, man?
I just want, it's just like stopping cigarettes from coming into the penitentiary. It's not going to stop it. You know how much a pack is worth? $500 for one pack.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not a cigarette dude either. I think cigarettes are not only bad for you. I think that they are. I mean, they're bad for the community and they bad for people. I mean, I don't know why people smoke cigarettes. That's just me. They age.
I just call your platform because nobody has the truth in them no more. They tell you the good stuff. I tell you the worst things about me so you could trust me, so that the community could trust me. If I tell you if I shoot heroin, if I sniff cocaine, if I do crack, that means you could trust me. I could be trusted. You know what I mean? That's the people that don't admit to it. That's the people you can't trust.
I've never trusted a crackhead in my life. They can't. I can't give them a $5 bill and think they coming back with my change. I can't do it.
No, that's fast. That's fast. I understand that. Right, you're right. But
all right, man. I gotta go.
I would come back with your change, but
you wouldn't come back. Because
I wouldn't want to ruin the relationship. Because then I wouldn't be able to borrow them. I pay back my debt. Okay. I don't care if it's $5. But this what happened. Okay, this is what I'm gonna leave you with. And I'm gonna get off the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Dude at the job, he asked me for $20, right?
$20.
You know me then. Yeah, $20 bill, right?
Now ain't no butterhead out here loaning nobody no money. So you stop lying. You be trolling, bro. Ain't no butterhead out here loaning nobody no money. But go ahead, get your point across. Go ahead.
Wait till you hear the end of the story, and then you might put me back on crack. So check it out. So then, soon as I give him the 20, so the test is.
And you gave him the 20. You a liar, bro. Come on, man.
No, listen.
You can't, bro.
So he said Friday he gonna give me the 20 back, right? So I'm waiting. Here come Friday. I'm like, oh man, should I call him? Because I'm broke. I ain't got no money.
So you telling me a butterhead got a butterhead? Y'all didn't say
no. Listen to the story. Okay. See, come on, Mr. Wyatt.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So then, okay. Then I'm about to call him, but then I call my people. They say, "Nah, don't call him. Just wait to see if you see him during the day." I seen him. He gave it to me. Now, fast forward 3 days past that, I'm broke. I asked him. Now he ain't got it. That's the end of the borrowing relationship. Okay, I gave it to him. He gave it back when I needed it. He wasn't there for me. Ain't that how we do as people?
Yeah.
I'm there for him when he messed up, but when I'm broke and starving and can't eat and can't got no gas in the car, nobody there for me. That's how you get blessings out here. So remember, he can't ask me no more. So if you do ask me, it's over. The whole relationship is over because when he did pay me back the debt, but
Men used to go to war for the women that they love.
That's what I had to leave you with, cuz.
Okay, brother. I
That's
appreciate
it right there. Do you understand that part right there? How do you feel? Would you still loan him money, or would you stop because he didn't loan you money when you needed? Tell me, Mr. Wyatt. Give me the truth.
Bro, I can't answer that because number one, I just don't think you telling me the truth because I ain't never.
It's the truth. God damn. Why were you? How can I make up something like that?
You know why?
Come on.
Because you just said you a butterhead. You said you a crackhead. I ain't never known a crackhead that loan nobody no money. Never in my life.
Oh my God. Then you just tell me if you sell it, you use it, it's the same thing.
Okay, now you trying to do too much. You incriminating yourself. God. You incriminating yourself.
I'm just saying about the $20. If you give somebody some money and they pay you back, but then when you need some money, they don't have there for you. Do you?
No.
Do you?
No.
Talk to me.
No, I don't. I've been in that situation a few times in life where I've given people some money and I never got my money back in return. And we got to the point like what I discussed earlier today. Those are generally people that end up acting mad at you at one point, and they forget that they owe you. They don't forget, but they turn it around. They manipulate you to believe.
So what do you say about what if they did pay you back, but then you needed some money and they didn't have it to give to you?
Well, maybe
that's what I'm asking you.
Maybe they didn't have it. I don't deal with.
So what you gonna do? So if they paid you back, you would loan the money again.
So basically, what you said, CK, I really got to go, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding because I want to nip it in the bud and be over with it. Are you saying you loaned somebody some money, they paid it back, and then when you needed some money, they didn't have it for you?
Exactly, and then I cut it off right there. So now,
why are you mad at them? Do you know for a fact that they had the money to be able to loan to you?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, why are you mad at somebody? Why are you mad? Maybe they didn't have it. Keep in mind,
I'm not mad. It's just business.
You just said you cut them off.
I'm just saying it's business. Now it's gonna keep you since you didn't have it. I don't never have it when you need it. Let's just keep it right there.
Well, okay, you can keep it right there, but let me give you a little gem, okay? A little piece of advice. Generally, people that need to borrow money from you are not a good, reliable source of going to borrow money from them one day. All right, that's just not a good. So don't be mad. Yeah, don't be mad at somebody. Don't be mad at someone because they don't want to. They may want to loan you the money, but they don't have it to give. Shit, they just borrowed money from you.
Thank you. All right, you gave me everything. I'm gonna listen to your platform. Thank you, guys. Let's family once again.
Talk to you. CK trolling once again, but we made some sense out of the ending. Damn. I don't know. I ain't never known a drug addict loaning people money, especially a crackhead or a dude or a dog. I ain't never known them to loan no money. Matter of fact, they owe everybody. That's just me. That's just me. Let me go back to what we started talking about. I pulled the video clip up. Some of you probably seen it. Y'all probably thought y'all caught my computer on some porn stuff or me looking at some old girls on my computer, but that's not what it was. What it is the young lady that's making the question go viral. Why aren't guys fighting for women anymore? See what I'm saying? And I just want to know, it's a very valid question. And I'm gonna be honest, what drew me to this was my conversations with my daughters over the years as they were growing up. And that was, I really, to be honest with you, a big part of how I was fathering as a man is I question would I want my daughters to be with a man like me? Okay, like if they met somebody out there, would I be okay if that man that they meet is a reflection of myself? And that's what made me straighten up and do certain things and be involved in their life a little bit more as they were younger. I had to try to be an example of what a man should be to his family or to his daughters. You know what I'm saying? So that played a huge part in how I raised my daughter. So This young lady is asking the question why men don't fight for women anymore. And she's also given an example of why they're probably not. I didn't want to give it away, but we're going to watch the video and then I'm going to, we'll discuss it. We'll have a 15-minute discussion about if what she's saying is valid or not. All right, check it out. Then we're going to go to the phone lines. Check it out.
Men used to go to war. Men used to go to war for the women that they love. They used to build homes from the ground up with their bare hands for the women that they loved. Men used to go work countless hours in coal mines and steel mills for the women that they loved. And they used to stand out in front of your house with flowers and gifts and serenade you with R&B songs because they wanted you and the whole world to know, I love that woman is mine, and I profess my love and I will marry her. But now we are online arguing about whether or not marriage is worth it, 50-50, who pays for the first date, and the bear versus the man. I want y'all to stop and think about why, just possibly, men don't feel the need to work for women anymore. It might be because he can see everything that you got for free on Instagram because your booty is the main attraction in all your photos. It could be because you enjoy giving a peep show on Snapchat on Friday nights once you get too drunk. It could be because you told this man, I'm a strong, independent woman, I don't need no man, I can pay my own bills. It could be that even if they bought the house, you're going to complain about cleaning it and cooking in it. They may not fight for us anymore because we've been too busy screaming out, I am equal to a man. So they're going to let you fight your battles. I'm not saying that it's okay, but I'm saying that if we want men to be men again, maybe it should start with women being women. I don't know.
Wow. Maybe it should start with women being women. I remember watching some little old movies. People don't respect old movies anymore. Like in the 60s, that old shit. Women used to wear clothes, the little the high school skirts and, cover up blouses and shit. I think it's called a blouse. I'm not quite sure. I'm a little dated. Blouses, and they covered themselves. Not as much maybe as a Muslim woman. No. But these women back in the day would cover themselves, and they had a lot more respect for themselves. And what did it do the most? What did men do back in those days to win a woman's heart? He tried to be the best man that he could. He was showing that woman that he is about his business and he is a prize because she is a prize. You're worth me going out of my realm for. She's worth it. If this is going to be my queen, this is going to be my wife. I don't know if women today are approaching this world wanting a husband. I think you're approaching, two things can be true. I could be wrong. Both of these points could be wrong. A lot of these younger women are not approaching the outside like they looking for a husband. They looking for fun. They're looking for attention because they didn't have the type of attention they needed they weren't praised from a young age from a man being their father. And they're looking for that validation once they get on their own and out there. I had a little girl, bless her heart, that grew up with us downtown. I'm not going to say her name. Shit, she might even watch the show every once in a while. I doubt it. She lived across the street from the Boys and Girls Club. That's as much as I'm going to give you on that because some of y'all probably tag her ass or something. I don't know. Y'all might know her. Her mama kept her in the house. She had a little brother. Kept her in the house. She watched us play outside of the boys' club. She watched us go in the boys' club when it opened in the morning. She watched us leave in the evening. and she sat in the windowsill and couldn't have no fun with us. This little girl was so cute. She was a light-skinned little girl that you could tell was being held by vice grips in that house. She had no interaction with kids our age. She wasn't part of nothing we did. She sat in the windowsill and looked sad the entire time, all the time. She didn't have an opportunity to experience dudes in the hood. Mama was trying to keep her away from everything. And I'll be honest with you, that was the worst thing that her mama, I think her grandmother actually raised her. The worst thing that her grandmother could have done was shield that young lady from the world. Because Lord knows, when she got out here on her own, she didn't have a clue. She didn't have a clue. She ended up with like 3 or 4 kids. This is not the first young lady. The other one, y'all know I'm very... Donna, you probably do remember her because you from where we from, you stepped in the same sand, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But I've known several young ladies that ended up coming to going to Cincinnati and dealing with that. My sweetheart, my very first love of my life, her name was Teresa Steele, came from Tennessee. English Woods beat her up. I mean, like, turned her out. Rest her soul. This young lady down the way, same thing happened to her. She was not prepared for life because she was so sheltered and so locked in that when she got out here, the first man that said something to her and made her feel special, she was down for whatever. She ended up trying drugs. So did my love of my life when I first met. You know, they ended up doing drugs. They ended up doing everything that I was just trying to tell CK, where if we had a little bit better grip on our younger generation, if we had the right proper stuff in their life at the beginning, that we can knock down that market, that productivity of drugs, that music, the things that fuel the behavior we see in that culture. We can knock that down, but it starts early. Let me read this comment right here, because Carolyn Smith says, look, damn it, I know women who have treated their men like kings and men who treated their women like queens, and they still get shitted on. Well, here's the problem, Carolyn, all due respect. I think you will agree with this, because I agree with what you just said. But I think it happens every day. I'm not suggesting that women don't treat their men like kings. I'm not suggesting that men don't treat their women like queens. Here's the difference. Here's what the problem lies. A woman that's treating a man like he's a king, is he king worthy? Just because you got a man don't mean you need to treat him better than you treat yourself or treat the situation. Same vice versa. Just because you got a man, it might not be the right man. You might be putting way more into that man than he deserves. So what does that say? It don't mean you can't be a queen. It just means you picked the wrong dude. He don't deserve you. He don't deserve the things that you do. He don't want you. Any man that has a queen treats her like a queen. If he wants a queen, a lot of dudes don't want a queen. There's a lot of guys that don't want a queen. I'm sure there's women that don't really want a king. Some people don't want to be bothered. They don't want that commitment. They don't want that. And it's not for everybody. But the truth of the matter is, yes, women will treat a man like a king and he shits on her, like you said. You know why? Because he don't have his queen. Just because she's giving him king action, king shit, cooking, cleaning, doing whatever, financing, doing whatever it is that you think you doing for a man that you're supposed to be doing, he might not be the right one for you. But that don't mean there's not a king for that same woman. She just don't have him yet. Don't lose the practice. See, a lot of women end up with a dude like that. They go out on the edge and they do a lot for a dude like that. And that ain't the right dude for you. And you burn yourself out of doing all the right shit. Then you get the next guy who might be just like him. And now you done. Fuck it. These motherfuckers out here crazy. No. Try making adjustments in your life. The same place you met Roy, you can't meet Philip at the same place. Try a different environment. Try somewhere different. Try to expand your horizons. I promise there's somebody over the mountaintop. I promise. Try being a different person yourself, because it might be you. Carolyn, you know I'm not talking about you. I'm talking in general. It might be you. It's your choices. You control who you be with. The world don't control who you be with. You make your choices. So you make your bed. Look, now, unless you somebody, if you ZZ or BB or Baba, somebody that has been in an arranged marriage, you're not from that culture. I just came from a country where they have arranged marriages and no complaints. I seen a man marry his daughter. She was 14 years old. Still drumping brooms and shit. And it was a business arrangement, business marriage. And them girls do not argue. The boy was 22 years. Well, the man was 20 years old. She was 14. He was 20. And it was families. And believe it or not, that shit is going on in this world. It may not be going on in America. That's why we make so many bad decisions. And the reason why we make so many bad decisions is because what I said on Wyatt Live 5 years ago in the first week, I said, this platform ain't going to be for a lot of people because I believe we're too free. And people shut down and people was gone because, they only need to hear what they need to hear. It don't have to make sense. It just made they kind of sense. And when you say, he said, what? We too free? This motherfucker crazy. You don't understand what I'm talking about. We're too free to make wrong decisions. There's no accountability. The only thing we have in America is punishment. See what I'm saying? There's nothing that makes people do what needs to be done. Like a parent, unless you're abusing a kid and neglecting them a certain kind of way, physically, or what is it when you take their opportunity for education away, or you physically abusing them or neglecting them or something of that nature? There's punishments for that. But there is nothing in this world, in America, there is nothing making a parent a kid. You can get in trouble if your kid is truant at school. You know why? Because the school district went hard for that punishment because God dog it, almost cursed. God dog it, we get paid for them kids to be here. And if they truant them way out of there, we can't get paid for that child. So we need to get our money. So we're going to go after the kids. AP said, wait a minute, I ain't marrying my 14 off to no grown ass man. Well, they do it. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't make my 14. Okay, let's just say the Carl Linder family. And I'm just saying this hypothetically. Let's say my daughter is 16 years old. I have two daughters, one 24, one 20, right? But let's just roll the clock back. Carl Linder and them say, hey, Wyatt, our families could be strong together. The Wyatts and the Linders, whatever, the Linders and the Wyatts. And your daughter's 14. And my son is 20. And we're in Spain. I don't know. Would I marry my 14-year-old to a 20-year-old, or I don't care, 18, 19-year-old? Would I marry my 14-year-old daughter off to that family to empower my family? No, because my train of thought, to be honest with you, AP, is, damn it, we're going to get our rocks. We're going to get our shit without the Lenders. Hey, he sees an asset in me. He sees that I'm valuable. So I know that I'm only going to be, I've done something to be valuable. I'm not going to, but that's their culture though, also. See what I'm saying, bro? Like, we're so free, we can't. There you go, Jack. Jack says you would if it was part of your culture. Right, exactly. If it was my culture, yes. But it's not my culture. I'm not built in that culture. DeAndre said, if you lived in that culture, you may. You're right. Y'all right. But I didn't grow up in Africa. I didn't grow up over there. I don't live by those laws, those rules, that culture. I don't live by that. I'm just telling you the way how free we are in America. That is not even a thing with us here in America. It's not even a thing. And they do not complain. The 14-year-old girl know what her duty is to the family. We sit back here and we talk about how these third world countries and these people get abused and this and this and that. Well, I tell you what I've seen a lot of, to be honest with you. I just have to say it. Family unity. Family unity and the things that they do to keep their family structure solid. You know, our family sometimes want to get together, you know, we want to get the t-shirts out when somebody gets shot and killed and all that old shit. We put a lot of effort after the fact into things. We don't put that much energy into prevention, but we put a whole lot of energy into after the fact. And y'all didn't heard me say this before. Dudes be doing fundraisers for funerals, but we don't do community fundraisers for college. I ain't seen nobody put a name up on a GoFundMe yet saying, hey, I got a brilliant daughter here who's in the 10th grade and wants to be a surgeon. I'm taking GoFundMe or I'm taking donations because I'm going to enroll my daughter into school, and it's going to be $500,000 by the time we finish 4 years of grad school and undergrad school and grad school. It's going to cost $500,000. I don't see anybody doing GoFundMes for that. We doing GoFundMes for murderers. We doing GoFundMes for funerals. We doing GoFundMes for shit that's happening after the fact. No prevention at all. Get mad at me if you want to. I know that's where I generally lose people. You can't deny it. What's that? Jackie says that's why people who visit Africa don't know as much as they claim. Shake my head. You mean who hasn't visited? Jack, correct me if I'm wrong. I read it. Maybe I read it the way you put it in there. But do you mean maybe who haven't been there, or do you really mean that's why people who visit Africa don't know as much as they claim? Wait a minute, maybe I read it the wrong way. That's why people who visit Africa don't know as much as they claim. Meaning, okay, let me, because sometimes I get confused. You know, I think, you know, we all see things a certain way through different lenses. Are you saying that once they go to Africa, they come back and they discover that they didn't know as much as they thought they did? Is that what you mean by that? I think I understand what you're saying now, because you said who has visited. So they come back knowing more than what they thought they did. And they actually find out that they didn't really know as much as they. See, here's the problem. A lot of people read too much. That sounds crazy, don't it? A lot of people read a lot of things that steer their beliefs. All right. And what I've learned is it's just like TV shows or anything else. What you want to believe and what you want to know and what's been taught to you, if you just focus on that, then that's all you know. If no one's writing counter books to what you're reading, you can't really measure any type of rebuttal to what you read. I mean, you know what I'm saying? No answers. So it's like Roots. I know this ain't gonna go over well, but I'm gonna say it. By the raise of hands, how many believe that Roots is it's a real book, but who believes it's a real story? By the show of hands, how much of Roots, how many of you believe that Roots is a real story? Alex Haley himself told you that it was a mythical book. He had to. They have to disclose that. I mean, I could even get to the point where, you know, it's a whole lot of different publications that's out that we've read that aren't really, there's some truth that lies in there. And those truths are the ones that fuel the narratives. And then it makes the whole thing, you know, it make it true to you. But it's like, I'm not going to sit here, not on here. I'm not going to sit here and have a debate with anybody about the Tulsa massacre, because I could tell you right now, this probably going to sound a little like conceited, but out of the people that we have on this program, there might be one or two. I'm just going to say maybe. But I don't know anybody that was in Oklahoma in the 80s who had a teacher who had family that was involved in the Tulsa massacre, who was an Indian. I don't know anybody on the platform who had the same opportunity that I had to hear it from somebody that family member was involved. So, I mean, I think that books tell a different story than actual people that have actually been there. I'll be honest with you. My wife and I have traveled to Africa several times. And the first time I went, I was on the plane. I'm talking, this was 25 years ago. I was on the plane thinking I packed boots. I packed all type of shit. I was packing bug repellent. I was packing shit that I was like, oh man, we about to be out in the woods. You know what I'm saying? I'm packing crazy shit. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I was packing shit like, oh man, I'm thinking I'm about to be laying in some tents and shit. Well, it wasn't quite like what I thought it was going to be. And we talking 2 decades ago. Imagine what it's like now. I don't know. Some of y'all seen the pictures on my page. You can go on the page. I know you probably can't go on the page. A lot of the things that I did in Africa, a lot of things I felt was disrespectful if I took pictures. To go to the school and watch the kids in school and to be taking pictures, they make it clear just for their own protection. It's like you can't go to Roll Hill. Well, maybe Roll Hill, but you can't go to certain schools in the Cincinnati area and walk up on their property and just start taking pictures of the kids. Somebody's going to address that. Somebody should. I don't know. Somebody's going to say something to you about coming on school grounds, and taking pictures of children and stuff like that. It even sound creepy. So out of respect, I'm not going to sit there snapping. Now, we have a few pictures that we have for our family where we took outside of the school and through the school entrance and at the playground where they play, and the type of toys that they play with, and the handmade toys that they have produced for themselves and stuff like that. It's just a different world. But at the same time, shit, we stayed in a nice place. I mean, we stayed right on the beach. I wasn't ducking elephants and shit, and it wasn't that. But if you let a lot of people talk about Africa, you know what they think? Elephants and lions and bears. Oh my, they think they coming at you. And it's not that at all. You think that the people don't know any better. That's what you would think. Not like that. Not like that at all. Not like that. Matter of fact, I can't wait to go back. A buddy of mine right now, I forgot where Rufus. Anybody? Rufus, I believe, is in and Rufus come a long way. Y'all don't understand. Rufus and I got some serious beginning times together. Rufus Johnson out of Cincinnati. I believe he's somewhere right now. Top of my head, I can't remember. But he is Jack Meow says it's a half. Jack said it's a half-ass flex. He said you'd think it was from watching white TV. You're right, because we don't own no. Bro. I mean, you can go to YouTube. YouTube will show you just how great a lot of different places are there, and you'll see that you're not walking on dirt roads. It's just Greece. Thank you, Shaba. He in Greece. My boy. Now, y'all got to understand, Rufus was my Chicago guy. Like, we grew up That was my past. Let me go to the phone lines, man. I'm sorry. I got someone holding on the line. Let's go to it so we can get on out of here. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
What's up? This Ron.
Ron, what's good, brother? Long time no talk to.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good to talk to
Hey,
you. What's
man,
happening, man?
Well, when we say that's not a part of our culture, as far as arranged marriages and shit like that, that's just that they just being ingenuous.
What do you
Because
mean?
now I know that people had to give permission to their kids to go on their Diddy flight. Now, when I say give permission,
Oh, okay.
you
I see
know,
where you at with it.
they had to just turn their back. You
Hey,
know,
Ron, keep talking. Ron.
What's his name? Usher.
Hey, Ron.
Usher Mama. Usher Mama.
Ron, keep talking, bro. I'm here. I'm fixing the light in my studio. Keep talking, though. I'm right. Okay. I'm here, bro. Go ahead.
Now,
I can hear you.
Usher Mama let him go to the pleasure camp. Now, what is the pleasure camp? Now, why would you do that? You know, and you know what breaking into that business is, because you ain't they wasn't new to it. They might have been new to it for her as an individual, but they knew the music business around, from around the way. So now Sexy Red, when she came about, now I would look at my daughter like, what the fuck is this shit? She's singing all this type of shit. And I'm gonna look at the people, her handlers, like, hey, what the fuck is this? Said the same way with Sexy Red and all that other shit. They got mamas, Lil Durk and all that. They got mamas and daddies. And we just, they just ignored that shit in order to go ahead and get on just like their kids got on. We sat there and watched R. Kelly. And if anybody's seen the video, they know that was R. Kelly that pissed on that girl. They know that shit. But the Chocolate Factory came out and we lost our mind. Didn't we, boy? Chocolate Factory, and then I Believe I Can Fly. That was for the white folk. Everybody lost their mind, and they lost the fact that that we seen this nigga pee on this girl. We lost the fact that people. When R. Kelly was convicted, it was that what is it? Finding R. Kelly, whatever that shit. I mean, everybody knew.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew that Aaliyah was underage. We definitely knew by the time that came out. But everybody, ain't nobody say shit. Now that's not just those people's parents' responsibility, because we become lovers of ourselves. Factually, because we don't ostracize stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? I was one of those ones that ignored it too. I said we.
Mm-hmm.
I said we. But we've gotten to the point to where anything goes. And if that chick was talking about, when we could get go back to being wives and all that other shit, no, nobody gonna do that shit, because they got OnlyFans. The boyfriend that's gonna be their girlfriend, the OnlyFans. I mean, it's designed to do and push everybody apart as a collective. But don't get it twisted. We got way worse things in the United States than a 14-year-old being into an arranged marriage. Like I said, that I think Usher was 14 years old when he got married to Diddy. And
when he got married to Diddy.
What? Yeah, when he got married. See, and like I said, it's not a marriage. A marriage in the traditional sense of a marriage. They ain't get papers, but I'm saying they allowed him to be his guardian. They allowed him to be his guardian.
Okay.
They married him off. And again, you know, you going to the pleasure camp. Now, it was an interview on one of those podcasts, and they asked Usher, would he take and turn his, it was the old video.
Yeah, if he would let his son go play with.
Yeah.
Go
was
with.
Like, no. But see, you know, it was his mother that did that. So they did it. And we do it. It's 300,000 children. It was 300,000 children missing when Trump took office. And we still, and ain't nobody saying nothing about them kids, Trump, nobody else. Ain't nobody saying nothing about them kids. They said, oh, we recovered some. No, but, you know, it would be significant, you know, if they recover kids like that. No, ain't nobody saying nothing. Because, you know, they've been trafficked.
Yeah, well,
you know,
hey, Ron,
you know,
let me just ask you this. Did you see the video that I put in Wyatt Messenger group today?
The video you just showed?
No. I have a video in the Wyatt Live Messenger group, and it's a video of two little Mexican girls who don't speak English. And I mean, they're probably 5 and 6 years old, maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. They're under 10 for sure, and they don't speak English. And they approach a brother's car, two brothers in the car. They approach them because they outside selling candy. They don't even speak English. They just out ripping and running the streets, bro. And they're selling candy out here with no English, and they have nobody, you know, they don't have anybody out here protecting them. I'm sure some of y'all seen what I put in the Wyatt Live Messenger group. I mean, it's amazing that nobody's talking about this, and y'all care so much about kids.
And we just, you know, but I want to say one other thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. You know, people not paying attention, but Ukraine had the biggest flex, you know, last week. They, Ukraine army bombed a base in Russia. It was one of those military bases that kept the bombers on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is real serious.
It was a drone attack. It was a drone attack, and they took out some military airplanes from Russia.
Yeah,
I seen it.
Yeah, and nobody really talking about it, and the Kremlin ain't been talking about it, and that is that's a danger. That is a danger. And what Marquetta was talking about was true. You know, that you know, they trying to crush the American dollar. They trying to do it from the inside, and that's why Trump went to the Saudis and got that money. He needed to. He needed to get them investments because Saudi Arabia was the latest to sign on to BRICS. Now, people may not, you know, you talk about me and all that shit if you want to, but this shit is a serious situation, and it's a trip because everybody now, like I said, everybody applied for that digital currency. Everybody, all the major banks applied for that digital currency, to accept that digital currency. But in order to accept that digital currency, all the other currency got to be obsolete. It got that.
I don't know if it has to be obsolete. I think it has to be devalued.
Obsolete.
No, I think it has to be.
It has to be destroyed. The dollar bills and even the BRICS.
Well, I still look at it.
It has to be destroyed in order for a digital currency.
Here's what I think about what you're saying, Ron. I'm not suggesting that you're wrong. I just think that a lot of things have to happen for that to be successful. And I know this is going to sound.
What do you think has to happen?
I'm about to tell you. I think that America has to no longer be the number one consumer in the world for the dollar to be devalued. And that's never going to happen. And what I mean by that is America imports tons of items, tons of things. And we're the number one consumer in the world. And that's what keeps our dollar valued. And if we
but
stop
that's
spending,
why he put the tariffs on them.
well, that's to get payback. That's to get money back into the economy, and for us to, if they're going to tax those people. I'm going to use the word tax, but it means charge. We're going to charge you to bring your products into America, and that's a privilege to service Americans because we know you're making a lot of money off of Americans. My point is to what you're saying, and that is, in order for BRICS and all these countries that are participating in BRICS, in order for that to work, it has to be it's a double-edged sword. America
I'm talking about the digital currency. The digital currency.
Okay, it's all pretty much the same. Okay, because who supports the digital currency? It would be the BRICS organizations, correct?
No,
what are you talking
it's
about?
Everybody. All the major banks have applied.
Okay, so you're not talking about the BRIC. You just said that. I thought you were talking about the BRICS taking over the American dollar value and things of that nature. I'm not talking about electronic currency. That's
just a distraction.
Well,
that's just them taking them possibly taking over the American currency, like you said, is just distractions.
Right, because there's no way you can do that without America, unless America stops spending. And there's no attraction to American consumers anymore. That's the only way you would be able to do that. And that's not going to happen.
They can't do it. But the digital currency is going to be, that's going to make the dollar and BRICS, all all that other currency.
Explain to me. I'm going to give you all the time. I'm going to give you all the time in the world to explain to me, how do you get rid of the American dollar? How do you get rid of the number one consumer of the world? How do you take their money and devalue it and it's worth nothing? Unless you inflate them to death, which that would have to be a self-inflicting wound. How do you do that?
No, what you do is have a major cyber what is it? What did
a cyber attack?
Klaus Schwab called it? He called it a cyber pandemic. That's what Klaus Schwab said.
And how does that hurt the American dollar?
He said that there would be a cyber pandemic, and this is what I'm saying, and nobody ain't even picking up on it. How you go in. I can go in. What is it? Not Walmart. Oh, yeah, Walmart too.
Okay.
But Walmart, Walgreens. Have you seen all of these lottery places that are in the places now that they wasn't there before? That they have gambling houses everywhere. You can gamble from your phone everywhere. They taking in that money. Because right now, the big time people, when they take in that motherfucking money, they have purchased their digital currency. The banks are what is that? Vanguard and BlackRock. Those all are banks. They have investments in banks. Those are the people taking our money. Those are people taking our money.
So
and the only way for us to do that is that we have a cyber pandemic. Cash Patel said that the FBI and the FBI director said that there will be a cyber pandemic.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question about that? Can I ask you a question like that? Okay, if there's a cyber pandemic, what does that do to the American economy? What does it do?
It shuts it down.
Okay, how? I probably should have been a little bit more specific.
It shuts it down.
How?
You can't use your credit card. You can't use your debit card.
Okay.
You can't use no cash.
Okay.
You can't. It
So are
shuts
you
everything
suggesting
down.
are you suggesting that the companies that we bank with are all overseas and ran by overseas entities? Is that what you're saying?
No, there
Okay.
are companies everywhere, but all of the companies in the world, all the major companies in the world has a patent for digital currency.
Okay, and now let me ask you this question about all the companies in the world. Where does all the
Major companies,
okay,
major companies.
where do all the major companies in the world, where is their highest consumer? Where is their highest consumer rate? Where is that?
There's consumers all over the world.
I know, but where is their number?
It's worldwide. It's worldwide consumption.
Ron, I
Now,
know that.
I mean, you may now Bank of America may be the leader over here.
Hey, let me ask you something, Ron. Let me ask you something.
Denmark has their own bank.
Let me ask you something, Ron.
Copenhagen has their own
let me ask you something, Ron. It's just a question.
Yes.
If you were to just give me your opinion, because I don't know if you know this as a fact, or just give me your opinion. What do you think banks, major banks, I'm talking about major banks, what do you think their number one profitable area is in banking?
I don't care if it's the United States.
No. It's relevant to what you're trying to say. It doesn't
make a difference.
It does make a difference, bro. It makes a huge difference because.
Well, what difference does it make if it's a cyber pandemic and everything shuts down?
Because you, as a business, it's just like what we said earlier.
Number one consumer is.
It's like what we said earlier. You have to pay attention to who your consumer is. Your major consumer is going to control your profitability in your company. Okay,
it ain't gonna be no profitability.
There's not a lot. Okay, first of all, let's go back
with what is it? Agenda 2025. But y'all need to look into Agenda 2030.
Okay,
y'all need to look into that.
Agenda what was 2030. It? Write it down, everyone. What was it again? Say it, Ron.
Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030. Now, when you look at Agenda 2030, when you look at the digital currency, now Microsoft has patented a thing to let you as a chip. It lets you manage everything. Is your food consumption, it manages everything. Now that patent is MO 2020
okay
060606. And you can't, that's how they register if you've been working, everything.
Okay.
This is real. Shit, I ain't lying. You know, you can.
I'm not suggesting that
Google
you're lying.
And then Chat GPT and all that other shit.
Hey, Ron,
you can do that.
Ron, I'm not suggesting that you're lying.
But we better be careful. We better be careful because what's coming? What's coming is a trip.
You know what I'm a little bit more. You know what I'm a little bit more concerned with, Ron. To be honest with you,
yeah.
And it's not off the beating path of what you're talking about. I'm a little bit more concerned with how our world is going to function when AI kicks in, and how we're already losing
all part of it.
I understand, but how a lot of jobs and a lot of humans won't be needed in the job field. You understand what I'm saying? I'm watching it.
Man, they got robots that'll build a house in 2 hours. Shit, they got a high rise robot. It's 3 stories. It's 3 stories. It's coming out this year. 3 stories to take and lift those metal, them steel poles, them steel beams, and all that shit. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Listen, bro. Listen. There's nothing that you could say right now to me, Ron, that would shock me. Okay, because look, when my nephew, who's a lot younger than me, told me a few years ago that you can actually print a gun off and make a gun off of a printer, I thought he was crazy. And I'm watching a lot of these makeshift guns and things of that nature be printed on a 3D printer, and it's real. And I'm watching technology take over the world. And what we're going to do, because we're not a test market. America is the #1 consumer. I'm going to keep saying that. And the reason why you don't see a lot of things in America is because they don't get here until it's time to start selling it at mass production, at highest price. When it gets here, it's already going to be in existence for 10 years in other places. All right. Let me just share this one investment. I've invested in those self-driving cars. Once my mom passed, I got an opportunity to go out to Phoenix, Arizona, and Wyatt is the name of the company. It's one of the things that I got into a couple years ago because they have, what do they call, Ubers and Lyfts and all that. It's a company that doesn't have a driver anymore. So these are cars, and it's pretty much driven by Jaguar. They have a company out right now, and they're pretty successful on the West Coast. But before it got to the West Coast, it was already being test marketed in Europe. And it's been going for 15, 20 years now. Now here we are, and it's in the United States market. Maybe in our stock club, I'll have a little bit more conversation when we have our meeting. But I'm just letting you guys know, I understand what you're saying, Ron, and it's not that I'm doubting what you're saying. It's just I need better understanding of how we get into the point where we're going to suffer the most by being the #1 consumer. I always believe, just like I was just talking about in the drug game earlier when we were talking to CK, I believe that when you control who controls the market is the people are the consumers. Consumer controls the market. Other than like in real estate, where it all depends on other mechanisms to determine interest rates and things of that nature. Sometimes it's a buyer's market, sometimes it's a seller market. But in overall, I believe that consumer controls the market. So I believe that if anybody is the #1 consumer in the world, because nobody spends like America, no one spends like America, that is going to be somebody that nobody really wants to take out because they keep the other countries' economies going the way they do. You see what I'm saying?
But they keep the Chinese economy going.
I know, because
Americans
and what does that? What does that? But what does that?
That's why Donald Trump leveraged them tariffs against their ass.
Well, I understand that. I understand that. But at the same time,
but look. Now, he just made everything all over the world. Their steel tariffs, 50%, steel and aluminum tariffs.
Can I say something? Hold on. 50. Also, what I want everybody to do, I know this isn't a stock club conversation, but since Ron just brought it up, I want you guys to do something for me. If you're doing trading on your own and small little things, I want you to take on U.S. Steel. Okay, get U.S. Steel because of the moves that's being made right now. You can get in fairly cheap. It's not cheap, but we'll have a longer conversation on the stock club. But U.S. Steel, okay, please, you'll thank me later. U.S. Steel, because of the deals and the things that's going on, it may happen. Chances are it's more likely to happen versus not happening. Okay, so just remember that one, folks. All right, go ahead, Ron. I'm sorry, I wanted to get that out.
Now. You are correct. You are correct. Now, they leverage them 50% tariffs because right now, robots and drones they are the new weapons of choice. They are the new weapons of choice. And they leverage them steel tariffs because we don't need their steel. We really don't.
No.
We really don't, not if we increase our steel production. And we have to increase our steel production because of the aluminum and the steel that we're going to need for all of these robots and drones.
Yeah.
Because drone warfare is the new warfare, period.
Well, I'd like to look at it a little bit different than how most people are putting it in that environment right now and how people are talking about it. When I say environment, putting it out in the air, I don't think that we have to be at a war type thinking position. I am an investor. I'm a capital adventurist. I understand how everybody needs one another. But I also understand this, Ron. This is no stab at anybody that believes what they believe. I am a firm believer that things don't function without all of us. Okay, like China needs us. We need China for a few things. Everybody needs one another. Nobody really wants to close up shop. Nobody really wants to be, in charge of everything because you can't control everything.
But war happens.
I know
war
happens, but we have more. Ron,
we've been experiencing that.
Ron, we're not having territorial wars right now. We're having economic wars. That's a totally different thing. Okay, those are two different things.
Wars happen.
I understand.
And right now we are in an economic war, and really we are in a physical war because and I had to think about that. I don't have a real ID. I lost my social security card and my birth certificate. You need a birth certificate to go get your social security card, all that other little stuff. But I don't have a real ID, and you need a real ID in order to get into a government facility or to fly.
Right.
Now, just imagine this, okay? Now, imagine if, the lights go out, like Cash Patel, the director, the FBI director said. What if they do? Now, if you have to go to a FEMA camp, because if everything is closed up and all that other shit, you can't get what you need. You can't get no water. You can't get no food. And it's a trip because the buzz has been carrying the same statement for the last 8 years. What would you do? What would you do? What would you do? Make a plan. Make a plan. Now, ain't nobody thinking about the geopolitical situation. Now, you thinking dollars. Now, and now I'm understanding that, and I respect that. But we have to think not only what our physical, is be concerned with our physical selves. We have to be concerned about our spiritual self and be concerned what our brother spiritually. Like I said, it's a trip because, if now you can look at all the guns that they have on the street. Those Dracos cost $700 easy. A Glock, the least expensive Glock you can get is $400. They ain't stealing all the fucking guns. They putting these guns in our community because, like I said, they ain't stealing all of the motherfuckers. But a 16-year-old can have a $700 Draco and not have no job, not even be hustling.
I don't think most 17. Did you say 17?
Yeah, no. I'm just being facetious. I'm just
no. I was
example.
just gonna say something to what you're saying. I don't think many 17-year-olds that would have a Draco would even be interested in a job.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is the elimination plan. Now you would think about this if you just thought about it. If I'm young and I can't get in a FEMA camp, young folk, we already said that. Young folk, they hunting. Ain't nobody, these young folk ain't built. They have no instructions. They ain't taking no instructions. I've seen the old school guy. He was partying with these young people, and he was up partying, and then it flipped. He was dead on his back, was stretched out, hands wide out. and they were stomping him. They were stomping him in his face. They were stomping him. Oh, shit. Man, our humanity is fucked up. Our humanity is fucked up.
Yeah.
And we to learn how to give a fuck about somebody else besides ourselves. Because even these young folk, if you don't check them, son, and you know, it's a way to do that shit.
Okay.
It's a way to do that shit.
I got you, brother. I got you.
But you know, like I said, you know, we in trouble right now.
Well,
we in trouble right now.
I think as long as we continue, look, I think we're in trouble in a whole lot of different areas. Like that, like I told you, if we want to talk about it and I'm not trying to stab at you, bro, but if we want to be negative about where we're in trouble, if you know that we're in trouble, I think we need to pay attention to the fact that our kids are not being prepared for what's about to happen for the job, for the job loss that's going to happen in America. I don't hear enough educators pushing things that's going to have our kid. They already can't read and write, to be honest with you. That's not a stab at them. That's an actual fact. The numbers show it. But we don't have enough of our so-called leaders talking about how these children are going to be prepared for the next level.
I ain't heard nobody speak about robotics, period.
No, and it's not a big conversation.
Nobody.
It's not a big conversation, but I do see people, and I know you'll probably love this conversation because it kind of makes a lot of shit look ugly to me. But you got a lot of people who are fighting for other people to be in this country when we're when we're not preparing our own people to be ready for the world that's coming to our country. See, if you got people taking hands-on jobs right now and you're not preparing, it would be one thing if we were bringing people here just to work and our kids and our people were being prepared for what the people that are coming here now won't be prepared for. But you're bringing people in that are going to compete with people that are not going to be compared.
Oh, you a coon. You a coon for saying that.
I'm just being honest with you, brother. Look, I'm just going to say the thing that nobody will say. If we had our children aligned and was preparing them for the AI, and since that, we're not doing that. But what we're doing is we're allowing people here that is going to be competing for those jobs that are not going to be at that level of AI and doing those things. So it's
the black woman that they wanted us to vote for was in charge of the AI czar, and we didn't hear a word.
Well, you know, unfortunately,
we didn't hear a word.
Well, hey, I got something for you, Ron. I gotta go, but I got something for you. I'm sure you'll love it. I'm sure you'll love it. Guess who just turned to as an independent, like myself? Guess who just turned into an independent?
Oh,
you ain't gonna believe it. I give you one guess. Say one name.
What is it? Wasn't it Stephen A. Smith?
No. That was your one guess. This is for the world to hear. Kareem Jean Pereira.
What?
Yes, brother.
What?
She just came out with a book. She's leaving the Democratic Party to become an independent. That was
she gonna snitch.
That was the press secretary for Joe Biden. Now I'm surprised you don't know that, but I read a lot, and I'm just if y'all go to YouTube, wait a minute. If you go to YouTube, it's her giving, unless it's some AI shit. I mean, I'm just being honest. She's coming out with a book. And it's not her first book either, but she's coming out with a book, but it's explaining how she's going into the independent party. And I mean, Kareem is a beautiful woman. I always
that's my girlfriend.
I always really liked her. I really always liked her. I just never liked the position they put her in. I don't like that they got rid of the white girl and then brought the black girl in as a buffer. That's what they did, because they knew that she was going to stand up there and handle her business. I've always respected her grind. I didn't like the position that she was taking. The defense.
They set her up. They set her up.
And I'll be honest with you, brother.
Who wouldn't take that position?
Listen, because a lot of people don't think that I say anything positive about Kamala Harris, but I really did. I do, for what she does. When she first came in and Joe Biden made her the border czar, now they saying that she was never that, but for all that time she was. When they turned her into the border czar, I was on her side, and I said, I don't like this because they're setting her up for failure. They're doing all of that on purpose, and they're putting it on her, and it's going to look like she failed at her job. And I didn't like it. And anybody that hasn't been here, you might not have known I had that position, but I got the receipts. I've been told y'all that man set her up for failure. Now, I don't think he ever thought that he was going to make her, run for president and all that type of stuff. But I do know that Joe Biden set that, like somebody, it might even have been, it may not have even been Joe Biden. I don't like what they did to Kamala Harris. They put her in a position that almost where she couldn't win. And then they put her in a position where her track record of being in the office was going to look bad because of immigration. And I said it, and I know it didn't sound good at the time, but here we are. The truth is what the truth is.
They set all of these black women up. And Joe and that administration set the women up, and in Georgia set the woman up in New York, and mind you, they ain't getting no pardons. They ain't getting no pardons, and
Ron, you've been here for a while. You've been here for a while. Do you remember that being said on the Wyatt Live show? Do you remember a couple years ago? Do you remember that was being said? I said, wait a minute, hold on. I said, these folks that are filing these charges, these indictments, they sure in the hell better have their shit together. They better have their stuff together. And of course, certain media outlets are not showing you what those folks are going through. What'll happen is these charges will come up on these other folks. They won't hear the details of what happened and what the buildup was. They'll just hear the indictment and they'll hear what's going on. They won't hear the process of what got them there. And I really thought that Joe Biden was going to give them. It's funny how he gave all those other white folks pardons, including his family, Dr. Fauci and all that. But he didn't give anybody that he was using that looked like us a pardon, not one.
And black folk won't say nothing about it. It's
that's
like
okay.
It ain't nothing.
That's okay because, it is what it is. But the truth is, what we just said is the truth. None of those folks got a pardon. They can't argue that. And it's not even that, bro. It's the fact that I seen the play coming a long time ago. When they use us, they use us. And that's just the bottom line. And people that get used don't see it. That's why they get used, because they don't see it coming. Some people are okay getting used because they get something out of it. But there's others that sit back and just be like, that's a damn shame. And that's what they say every time. Now, I just didn't believe that it was going to happen this fast, but it did. It did. I mean, here we are. Here we go again. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, look, facts over feelings, man. You don't ever stop doing that. That's what we do.
Okay. I appreciate
All right,
you.
1 minute.
All right, brother. Thank you. Y'all can say whatever you want to say about pardons. Joe Biden pardoned 8,000 people in one day. I don't even think he know the people that he pardoned. Y'all better look into what's going on. And Trump gonna pardon PG Sittenfield. They all selling America. They all selling that shit. I don't know why y'all think these people, one side or the other, is for you. I don't even understand why y'all think they on your team or they got your back. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's why I fight for what I fight for. I'm an independent. Say what you want to say about me. I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them because they don't have your interests at heart. If they did, you wouldn't have the neighborhoods that you have, and they ran by the people that you have. I mean, your people running your own neighborhoods, but they not running them. So how the hell? What's your answer to that? Trump don't run and Biden don't run downtown. They don't run your neighborhood. Your local government run your neighborhood. And you still saying the people that you choose and you vote for, you select, you don't even have enough gumption to not say, they. So if they your people, who is they? When you say they don't care about us, they doing whatever they want to do to us, who is they? Let me go to the phone line. Good afternoon, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
Here's your enemy, man.
My enemy?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me, hold on.
I hope
Give me
not.
a minute.
I don't need enemies.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me give me some air right quick before I crash out. What's up, Wyatt?
Hey, what's going on? Twin, what's good?
Ain't nothing good yet. Hey, Wyatt, when you went to Africa, did you eat some fufu?
No, I know what it is, but no, I didn't, bro. I don't.
You never tried fufu?
I'm a finicky eater, Twin. I don't eat a lot of stuff, bro. I really don't. I think the craziest, and it's not really crazy because I eat gyro sandwiches, gyro or whatever people call them.
Gyro.
My thing is,
Gyro.
and that's lamb. That's lamb. In Africa,
You ever tried the chicken kind?
No, I've heard of it. I know they have it, but no, I've
Yeah.
never had it. I'm more of a lamb eater when it comes to the gyro sandwich or gyro, whatever you call it. But I'm a very finicky eater. Like they had a pig roast, and I don't do that. Like I can't see something cooking that got eyes and shit. I can't even eat fish that got eyes and then eat it. I can't. I'm a finicky eater, bro. So you know, I'm not a farm
Everything
guy.
got eyes on it, man.
Yeah, at one point it did, but not that. But I can't sit there and watch something with eyes. That's why when I lived in New Orleans, I couldn't eat. I was probably the only person in the whole city of New Orleans that didn't eat seafood. I mean, because seafood is huge in New Orleans, right? In Louisiana.
I mean, is you allergic to it or something, or you just don't like the?
I'm a finicky eater. I can't. I'm the type of person where I would probably die if I had a farm and had to, kill my food and then eat it. I mean, that might be a far fetch, but I'm just being honest, bro. I can't.
Well, if the grid come and everything, you got to get down with the get down. You got to go get that raccoon or rabbit or something out there to survive. Would you go live out pork and beans?
Yeah, that'd probably be the end of Wyatt. That would probably be the end of me. I'm just being honest. I can't eat a lot of foods that stare at me.
Wyatt, you got a great show, man. You've been doing this for 5 years. I've been listening like 3.5.
Okay.
And I hate to say it and bring it up. You live on it almost like the 6-point star of the GDs.
Say it again.
You know what I say? You live almost under the standards of the GDs, man. The 6-point star.
You lost
which
me
is
there.
life.
I know what that is, but I don't see.
You know what it is, right?
I know what it is, but I don't see the affiliation. I don't see what you mean, though.
I'll explain it to you probably in the chat. I'll break it down to you.
Okay.
And you'll get feel my drift, what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But I want to explain because you got people in here that's and all that 63rd stuff, but But back to this. Earlier, we talked about it, remix from yesterday or Monday when you came on, and we talked about Larry Hoover.
Okay.
You're right. He can't come out and dictate nothing. I wasn't talking about him coming out dictating nothing. You remember when you heard of Willie Lloyd, right? Out of Chicago, he ran to CVL, Conservative Vice Lords. And remember he came out and he was walking his dog. He came out, he got out the joint, he tried to dictate and run them little shorties.
And they did.
And he's like, man, and what they do? They shot that man about 15 times.
They did.
And he go talking about, and then after he came with, I wouldn't recommend nobody be in the game. Yeah, after you send out hits on everybody, and you try to come out and dictate like you the man standing on business. And them shorties were having that. Just like Larry Hoover, he can come out, his name carries weight in the city. But he can't he ain't go, he know what to do. He ain't go come out, hey shorties, y'all can't do this, man. Come on. He go advocating like, give him some advice. He can be a counselor something to the, this what can happen to y'all. They can listen. They don't gotta listen. It's up to them. But if he really want to come out and be, and put his men back in place who ran through certain blocks and everything, it can happen.
No, I can't, Twin.
It's you nuts, man. You crazy as hell. If he really want to get down with the get down.
How old is
Come on,
he?
let me tell you something, man. It was bored in regions across. You had 63rd and 73rd. You had 59th to 55th. You had low end. You had men's on every territory, Wyatt.
I understand that.
You had men's on everything. So if he really want to get down,
how old is Larry Hoover again?
It's gonna be a war though if he do it.
Yeah, it'll be a very short war. How old is Larry Hoover again? 70 what?
74.
Yeah, it's
But
over.
it's not gonna happen though.
I
He
know.
know what it's about. You know, hey,
And
if
if
they
he
can't
brought some
tell mom and daddy, what makes you
68-year-old,
think they gonna
if
listen
he
to him?
brought some
You had a good point
68-year-olds,
yesterday, huh?
if he brought some 68-year-old dudes that rock with him in the day, 65, 62, AARP ass dudes up out there, if they came they
You
old
say if
ass
they
out
still
there,
living?
I don't know. Most of them probably dead. With all due respect,
No, I Turney his right hand man, one
man, them
that
old
created the
dudes,
law
bruh.
and the principle and everything. Other GDs that wrote the book
Listen,
book about the laws. He still lives.
It'll be the
And
youngest dude out in the streets that'll do them dudes in too. It'll be
you said what?
It'll be the youngest dude out there. It'll be the 14-year-old that'll end up doing one of them old heads in for the credit, for the street cred. I'm telling you, bro.
It's right. Like Ike and all them, D.D. Dirk and all them, they moved on and everything. They preach about politicians and all that. Like, hey, this could have been happening and all
I'm
that.
not
And they knew,
suggesting that,
like you said.
hey, twin, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Let me just say this. I am not suggesting to you that these guys wouldn't come out with full intentions of making a good change, making a change to the good. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm saying that if they did come out and they did all of that, they would get dealt with. You got to understand, bro. It's not even because it's not because we as the people don't want to see it happen, like don't want to see the change. It's the system itself. If you clean us up in Chicago, the real money and the real situation goes away. You can't tell me that they can't stop Memorial Day shooting of 40 and 50 shootings over the weekend. If they really want to stop that type of stuff, bro, they could keep these people.
They can stop it.
So why don't they? Why don't they?
Because they don't want to. It's money make. They feed off our trash. They get paid for our trash.
I understand, and that's my point. And if Larry
government got paid, it's not. Yeah, you're right. They can stop it if they want to.
And if
stopping.
Larry Hoover came out here to be to be a movement to stop it, he would get dealt with, and they would let it happen.
Yeah, I understand. I come on, man. I understand what you was talking about. He just can't come out be a dictator. Sure, y'all do this and stuff. I'm back out here on the scene.
Man.
No, they go look at him like, hey, you had your time.
I'm gonna be honest with you, twin. Let me say this, and you can have the floor after I say this, bro. If Larry Hoover, who has a name, right? He's a well-known person throughout the Chicago area and throughout the states, right? If he was still powerful, he could make that change from the penitentiary. He could make the changes in the streets of Chicago from the penitentiary, just like real shot callers still do what they do from the penitentiary. But he can't.
What you think the movement happened though?
All right,
it was a movement. What you think happened? All the goods from Vice Lewis.
I'll be honest with you, brother.
I think took all of them. They took that sweep back in '98. It was a wrap, White.
Right. I believe this in my heart. If Larry Hoover had any pull in the streets, he would be dead already. That's just coming from my heart. I don't mean to put death on anybody, but he does not have. Okay, let me show you who had power in the penitentiary. Nelson Mandela. You see what I'm saying? A person that can go to jail for 20 years and still have power out in the streets. And this power is a different kind of power, obviously, but the lockup and the influence is the same. We're talking about the same thing. All right. Nelson Mandela had his people's ear. All right. He had the country's ear. Your boy Hoover, he's in a game. All right. He's in a game we're low hanging fruit in that game. We build a name that really isn't relevant. It's just important for the moment. All right. I mean, it's just a position that they replace, I don't know, every 4 or 5 years. Maybe a good run is 10 years for guys like that. And then they send them to jail for the rest of their life. I can name more than one Larry Hoover in this country. You can look at a real guy like a Rick Ross, not the rapper, not the fake fraud ass rapper. And I think I'm big meat, not all that old dumb shit. I'm talking about the real Rick Ross. You look at it, he is you know why he ain't out here talking about these streets no more? Because he would be dead. He's turned his thing into a business to be profitable. I don't agree with everything that he's doing, and that's his business. But I'm just saying, if you think Larry Hoover had any, that's why you didn't see Rick Ross out here trying to change the community and change things, because he knew if I got into that field, I'll never get out of here. Or if I got into this type of stuff and blah, 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 I'm going to be dead. No, this is a set situation, bro. Larry Hoover, if he get out, he ain't going to try to change nothing because he know that'll be the end of his life. And he can't, because if he could, he would have done it.
You do 20, 30 years and stuff, you think you gonna come out here and change stuff. It's not gonna happen. You can be a leader, a counselor.
I'm glad.
You do 20, 30 years, man. No, you can't do that.
Okay,
change
you're
up,
right.
but your name still go carry weight.
Okay, so then
like,
let's
that's real OG freeway Ricky Ross.
Okay,
Rick Ross or whatever.
So this
that's
is what
Larry Hoover, the chief, man. He go get it like respect, like what's it called? Like Lil Larry, the one his oldest son. Like Lil Larry, I know him from knee high. He wasn't trying to dictate and everything, orchestrate the game and everything just because his son. He didn't get killed. Everybody respects him because that's his son, and he wasn't on no dummy list. He had to go to Stateville. Hey, Daddy, you dead wrong for this shit, man. What's happening? He had to check his daddy on that. Pop, you bogus and everything. They calmed it down. What he was doing, he tried to orchestrate some bogus stuff out the joint. And Larry wasn't having that. No, you ain't sitting that our way, Pop. You bogus. He had to check him about it. It's all documented and everything.
I feel you.
You can catch it on YouTube, man. I sent it to your message and everything.
I got you.
Real
all I'm
man.
saying to you is this, twin. I hope guys like Larry Hoover could make a difference and a change in the community. I really wish it could happen. But I think there are bigger things that are going on that's very obvious to a lot of people.
Like you said, it can happen, but them white folks won't let it happen. They can, it's like you said, they can stop this madness, what's going on, but they feed off our tracks. Yeah. They get paid for this, man. Just like the rap industry. Dude asked them on Breakfast Club, that Coin, whatever his name, hey, you think why you just can't stop the beat? Hey, my family got to be fed. I got to feed my kids.
Right. Well,
and
yeah.
So,
it's like anything else.
But like they don't want, just like the drugs. Man, they can stop the drugs if they want to, but it's money, man. Penny 10 cent a penny to the joint, they can stop all that, but it's money.
Yeah, well,
it's money. You go keep wearing them Bob Barker shoes. He was a big contributor to the joint.
Yeah.
The Price is Right, dude. Them Bob Barker shower shoes, yeah, that was his. Any joint they had, he made those. Yeah.
Well, I wish everybody the best, but I think that the start of a new beginning starts at kindergarten, but it's before the kids are even born, to be honest with you. I want to go all the way back to that point. I just think that I think it's probably an unseeable. I mean, it's probably a fantasy. It's probably something that'll never happen. But I think that we have to get under control parents that are having children that are not ready for children, because this is what happens when, those streets are out there waiting for the next kid that needs somebody.
But Wyatt, tell me this, man, to be honest.
Okay.
So you think on all these kids doing the dun-dun and all that, you think it's a single mom parent issue? Or just clout chasing?
No. In most cases, and let's see, a lot of people, when I answer this honestly, I think a lot of ladies on the program understand me now. I don't think most of them think I'm taking a shot at a woman when I tell you, yeah, I do think that it has a lot to do with these kids being raised in a single parent home. And I think that when it's, in most cases, it's majority women, but I think that does play a big part in how kids get lost out here, because I just don't think it goes back to the video that I showed earlier. And it's, why don't men chase women anymore? Well, women don't have, women just don't
like it to me, man. Women want to be men and men want to be women nowadays. Ain't no real men out here no more, man.
Well,
they became punks, man.
I don't know about that, because I have a few friends that are married with children and they take care of their business. I don't know personally a lot of people.
A few.
Huh?
You probably know a few. Man, some of these niggas done got soft.
No. What I'm saying to you is this, bro. I mean, look, what I've learned to do is pay attention more to the people in my circles, and the people that I gravitate to are people that live like me.
Okay.
I don't pay attention to a lot of things that don't benefit me, nor does it have anything to do with my life. So when you see people, and that's how most people are. So I'm not saying something like on some flex shit. Most people surround themselves to be comfortable and surround themselves with like-minded people. If not, you're a miserable person. Why would you want to be around? If you're a well-to-do person, let's just say, if you're a well-to-do person and you're doing pretty good for yourself, twin, why would you hang around a bunch of homeless people every day? Why would you be so successful in your own way, but yet you want to hang around people who don't have anything or not on your level? Why would you want to be?
I had to learn the best way, because why you right. Because I used to be like that, man. I hate that nigga. I hate that female. Man, why do you say that, man? If you got an issue with them, go ahead with them. Why you keep it? And they got on my nerve. Oh, nigga, you just a punk ass nigga. No, I'm not no punk ass nigga. You a stupid ass individual. Keep on saying the same stuff every day. I holler at you, man. Let's go get money. Let's go to work or something like this. But you want to, man, nigga,
right? I mean,
then I cut that off, boy.
I'm gonna be honest and say this, man. I'm about to piss some ladies off. I'm about to piss y'all off when I say this. But one of the things that I always found to be suspect in women is this. I used to always wonder why the pretty girl always hung with a bunch of ugly girls, and it was because. You know what I'm saying? Or why that one skinny girl, that one in shape girl always want to be with the big girls. You know what I'm saying? I just always had a thing about people who wanted to be the oddball or wanted to be the prettiest one out of the group. Like there's some girls that actually choose ugly friends to be with so they can be the superstar. And it's the same way with guys, to be honest with y'all. Y'all don't get mad at me. This is just me. This is just how I think. There are dudes that purposely go out and be cool with people like other guys because they know they got a little bit more than that guy, and they just want to be the man around them. They want to be the shot caller. They want to be the guy that the smart, the got money and always want people to have to borrow money from them, and they can control things and be like, no, I ain't got it right now. Wait till have everybody live in a certain way. And I think women do the same thing. Not all. I'm just saying it's like, I think that's one of the things we have in common. We just do it differently. It's like I see some women that hang around. We all done seen it. You just be like, damn, bro, she's fine as hell, but look at all her girl. And it goes back to the guys who be like, I'm going to take one for the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I got the pretty one this time, but y'all got to get with that one over there and this one over there. And that, But I think guys do the same thing. We just do it in different ways. Like guys want to be at a certain, it's about a maturity thing as well, though. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to be around people who need me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be around people that bring value to my life and I bring value to their life. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point in life, you grow into that. I don't, and it don't matter what people look like. It don't matter what their financial status is. None of that really matters. But you feel comfortable when you're around a midst of your own in your circle. That's just me. I'm at that age. But
hey, that young lady you was talking about, what's her name? Jean, the press secretary for Biden.
Yeah.
That's the dark-skinned sister, right?
Yeah,
with the curly hair.
I've been telling y'all she was cold. I got a sweet tooth for chocolate. I think that she's beautiful. I've always said she was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, she is. So she running independent, right?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure that was the right one.
Yeah,
and everything. But,
good for her.
Yeah,
but
man.
I don't know how I don't know how authentic that is. She does have a lot of things going on in her life that kind of sway a certain way. Like she is a lesbian, and she is.
She a lesbian?
Yeah, bro.
She get a 5-star.
Excuse me.
She get a 5-star too.
I don't know what that is. But yeah, she's gay, and I don't have a problem with that. She's married to a white lady. I mean, I don't have no problem with none of that. I still think she's gorgeous, but I just think that if you look at the things that she's doing in her personal life, it's going to be hard for me to believe that she's going to be a true independent. That's just me.
Yeah, and then all that you saying earlier about that Tyler Perry movie, and they keep bringing out that Mary Jane, no drama, and all that crazy. Man, I don't get into that stuff, man. No, my dad, you know what? Why? What upsets me, man? You make all these color purple movies and these Martin Luther King movies, man. Make something like you said more, you know, important for the kids or people's life, how to come up, like you said earlier about Boomerang.
Yeah, but you know
But they
what?
keep giving us all the time, man. Every year, especially around February, they give you these color purples and who shot the JFK and all that extra. No, I want to
Yeah.
hear this. Ain't we keep living about act like we in the '60s all the time, man. I don't know about the '60s, man.
Well,
I ain't grew up in no
there's
damn
there's a
'60s. I'm an
couple
'80s
things,
baby.
right? There's a couple things, Twin, that I think the reason why, and you know, it's just my personal
To,
opinion.
to piss you the hell off.
Well,
that's what it is, because that's
now,
all it do for
well,
me.
that
Mississippi
might not
Burning type movie.
Well, wait a minute. That may not be the only answer. That's probably one of them. But one of the other thing is from an economic perspective. You know, like I think Hollywood and I think people that are investing, Hollywood who invest in these movies, I think they have to be convinced that what they're investing their money in is going to return money. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think what happens is, you know, maybe Hollywood don't feel like we could say it's because they don't want us to look good. And that's kind of like how I feel personally. But there's also another perspective. There's another way of looking at it. Maybe Hollywood just don't feel like there's enough of us who really want to see something like that. Maybe they have us deemed as being messy, chaotic, and that's what they're selling us because that's how they know they can get their money back. Because if you look at all of the what is it, Love and Hip Hops and all these fake ass reality shows, that's where all the budget is going for pretty much black television. It's going into things like Basketball Wives and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I seen the other day one guy, he was talking on a podcast, and he was saying, I think you probably brought it up too. He was saying the other day, he was like, man, you got all these people, black people, majority of them in the NFL, NBA, and he was saying they ain't owners or nothing like that. You got people in Hollywood from Tyler Perry to LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and all them, producing of different. I say, what? And he was like, they don't put brothers on and none of that. Why did Michael Jordan and all them come together, Magic Johnson, put their money together, and they could have bought a team out, NFL team, or NBA team? I'm like, that's kind of true.
Yeah, well,
but
there has been some attempts. There has been some attempts on certain things like that, but we don't support them because, I mean, you look at someone like Dwayne Rock Johnson. All right, it used to be. I don't know if we all consider him black or what. Okay, he's brown.
He's
okay,
Hawaiian.
I know, but he's in today's world. I believe that he would be considered brown. They calling everybody that got any pigment in their skin. They calling them blacks or brown people. But him putting his money up to start a league, a professional football league. I bet how many of us have a jersey or have a favorite team? They can barely put people in the stadium. See, we yell about the NFL and the inequities of the ownership and stuff like that, but when somebody other than white starts a league, we don't really support it. We don't watch it on television because, I don't, for whatever reason. And it's not just because, it's black owned, so I'm going to disregard it. That's not what it is. It's just, hey, people like what they like. The product has to be a good product. And if it's not delivering what people want, then it's not going to succeed. But you can't be a group of people who say they don't support what we do because they won't let us in ownership and then turn around and not support when somebody other than white starts a league and you don't support it. See, that's kind of like, that's hypocritical. It's like it's like saying there ain't no downtown. And I know for a fact there's black-owned restaurants downtown. I'm just using this as an example. You can't bitch and complain that they don't have enough black-owned restaurants or they don't have black restaurants in the city of Cincinnati downtown convenient for us during Jazz Festival and stuff like that. You can't do that. And then when they do have some, you go to KFC. You go to Kentucky Fried Chicken or Popeyes and get your chicken instead of at one of those black-owned restaurants. You can't be that person. But a lot of people do that. A lot of people bitch and complain about the things that they don't have, but then they don't support the things that they already have in place. And I'm not suggesting everybody, but I'm just saying that is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. That's real facts. What you just said and everything. So yeah, that's true, man. Yeah,
Well, I
but
mean,
you know, I support everybody. If I like that chicken over there, that pork chop, I'm going to get. I don't care who it is. If it's nasty, I ain't coming back. So I don't care you're black, brown, whatever. I don't
Well, I'll be
discriminate.
honest, man. I definitely look. I've given restaurants. I don't care what color they are. I've given them, unless it was absolutely horrible. I've given restaurants multiple chances to get it right because you might have hit them on a bad night. And I've given restaurant owners that look like me a lot of, and I've never really been in one that I just said I'll never go back there for. I mean, I could say maybe one I've said that about, and I'll keep that to myself. But that all being said, bro, I've always given if I can give KFC 3 or 4 chances because the biscuits wasn't right or they were out of wings and this and that, I should be able to give my own people that same leeway.
Yeah, that's true. I ain't gonna cuss you out today, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, bro. I mean, I could take it, but I appreciate you not cussing me out today, twin. That's all? That's all you got?
Yeah, I think so, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you engaging with us today. That was Twin, y'all. He didn't cuss me out. I guess, Mama, I made it. Twin didn't cuss me out today. But, I've always been able to try to, support businesses. I've never been one that said, I'm not going to get in a field because they don't support us. That's just, to me, that's kind of, I get it, but what are we doing to counter it? I mean, that's just how I feel. Like if we're not supporting the NBA or NFL or what's the alternative? Do we really believe they're holding us and keeping us out? I mean, I believe the NFL, I'll use them as an example. I don't know any other industry in America. This is just my belief. I don't know any other industry in America that employs 75% African Americans and make millionaires yearly. You can even put the stock market in there. Schwab, JP Morgan. I don't know any of them that have a ratio of 70% of us and 70% of us are becoming millionaires in that industry. I guess you can find one that's better. I don't know. I don't know. So it would be very hard for me to have a problem with an industry that has 70% black folks. And out of that 70%, 65% are instant millionaires. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, but for each his own. I'm just saying, I don't know an industry that's doing it like that. And I mean, there's life after the game. You might go to the Cincinnati. Let's just hypothetically say I get drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals and I do my rookie contract for 3 years and I get an extended 2-year contract. I've made $9 million, $10 million over my career. I was a football player at one time, but now I own a Domino's Pizza. I've taken the money that I've earned in the NFL and been able to do something that I probably would have never been able to do if I was out here on my own. You see what I'm saying? I mean, why would I've known people, if you really look at the statistics, most of the NFL players in the last 10 years have gone off to do better things other than the NFL. These are guys that own multiple pizza joints, restaurants, car dealerships, things of that nature. If you just go and it's like going to the army. If you just go to the army to be an infantry and then they don't have a plan, an exit plan, you just an infantry army guy who gonna sit back and have nothing to do when he get out of the army. That happens in all fields. So you have to set yourself up. The NFL is a hell of a setup, though. When you get there, you got millions of dollars, at least a couple $1 million to be able to do what you really want to do, from go back to school to open up a franchise. And if you're a popular player, which confuses me. I never understood why a lot of the Cincinnati Reds or the Cincinnati Bengals, and I understand these guys are young guys when they're in the game, but I never understood why a lot of those didn't strike the iron while the iron was hot in the Cincinnati area. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why you don't have to be, and I know this is going to sound like a shot, but it's not. I'm just using a familiar successful name. If I'm a Cincinnati Bengal and I leave after 4 years and I've accumulated $5 or $6 million, I've also got enough time in to get a pension at the end when I turn a certain age. So I got guaranteed money in retirement. I think it takes 4 years, 5 years to be vested in the NFL. It could be 6. I'm not sure. But let's just say that I get to the point where I'm vested, but I got $5 or $6 million. So what that I can't open up a La Rosa's in Cincinnati? I'm a Cincinnati Bengal. I was playing in Cincinnati, and I have a name built up in Cincinnati. All right. I might not open up a La Rosa's because La Rosa's, they sell franchises, but they're selective. It's a family-owned business. I get it. But what's stopping me from going to buy a Domino's franchise and bringing it to Cincinnati? What's stopping me from getting a Toyota dealership and bringing it to the Cincinnati area? What's stopping me from doing that? Nothing. But you have to be geared to want to do it and understand. But what I've learned is a lot of these players that do this, they don't do it in the hometown like in Cincinnati. They go back to where they're from. They open up like Willie Anderson when opened up all those burger shops. What was it? I forgot what it was, Grab Burger or Hut Burger or something like that. These guys go off and do things that football opened the door for them to be able to do. And we're talking about they've made millions of dollars in the sport. And I'm going to not be rocking with them, the NFL who put them in this position. I can't, that don't make sense to me. Now, would I want to see The Rock, or, what's his name? Johnson. I want to see him do well. But in order for him to do well, the same people that don't want to support, don't want to support the NFL or the NBA for whatever reason, you got to go support. I mean, it would only make sense that you would support something that is going in the direction of what made you, you're not dealing with them. Why aren't you? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I see it all the time. People don't want to. There's certain things I don't like about how certain things are running. But then I got to do the math and I got to make it make sense. Like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm not going to cut my nose off despite my face. Like, there's certain things that I've had to deal with in my career. Like, I don't really like the fact that I'm bonding into an industry that does not have a lot of Black people in that industry, which would be construction. There's not a lot of construction ownership groups in America, not in the Midwest for sure. There's some, but not enough to say that we are competitive. And I'm saying to myself, well, here I am about to do a bond. I'm bonding a company that doesn't really have a lot of Black folks working for them. So as a Black man who owns a company, am I not supposed to do business with this company that has now been with me for 5 years, but I'm watching their hiring practices? Maybe I need to do a little deep dive into why they don't have a lot of African Americans. It might not be their fault. It might not be selective hiring. It might be Black folks don't apply. It might be where they're, it could be a more than just one situation. And it's like this in the NFL. If you're worried about NFL owners, have $4 billion to buy a team and see how that work out. When the Denver Broncos were for sale, what's the guy's name who tried to buy him? Black guy, on the Weather Channel. Somebody put it in the screen for me. He tried to buy him. His bid wasn't high enough. It wasn't that he couldn't. Nobody said, we ain't taking that Black man's dollar. Nobody said that they could, because if you look at the guy who owned, what's his name? Lucas, the Star Wars creator. He's married to a white woman. I mean, he's married to a Black woman, and he's white, and she is on Byron Allen. Thank you, Jack. Byron Allen he wasn't willing to put up $4.2 billion for the Denver Broncos. Y'all see Travis Hunter? I'm gonna have a conversation about Travis Hunter one day. Travis Hunter The number one pick in the NFL this year was Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders' guy. Okay, Deion Sanders got that young man in a position where he could win. Okay, he's the number one draft pick. He gets drafted to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Florida, here in Florida. Now, funny thing about that is they got an owner. He's not black, but he's a minority. He's some type of Italian or something. He's not white, but he had the whatever money it took to be able to get that franchise. And you know what? If I'm not mistaken, I know this is true. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Charlotte, what are they? Charlotte, I can't think of Charlotte's team. Jacksonville and Charlotte end up being an expansion team. So they let a non-white person buy an expansion team. I'm sorry, you're right, Vernon. Cam Ward was number one. Travis Hunter was number two. My apologies. I love the fact that Cam Ward went number one, though. You know, I have a collection of black quarterback jerseys. I'll share it one day. They're actually over there. I'll share it with y'all. People that know me and have been here for a while, they know. Carolina Panthers. Thanks, Jack. I got some real brothers on here that's really putting up these numbers and putting up this information for me. I appreciate you helping me out. Take a lot. I'm really tired at this point. It's only been how long now? 3 hours. No, I did take a bathroom break. I ain't gonna tell y'all when I did that. Y'all probably seen me get up, but I did get up. And the person that I had talking at that time I knew I could rely on them to talk long enough for me to go to the restroom and come back and not miss a beat. But anyway, yeah, Carolina Panthers. Thank you, Troy. Those guys, oh, yeah, Miss Pittsburgh said Travis Hunter got married around 2 weeks ago. Yes, I'm going to have a conversation about that. I love the fact that people hating on that young man. I don't love the fact that they hating on him. I'm saying, I didn't mean it. I was being facetious. It's crazy that they hating on this young man. Everybody got something to say about that young man getting married to his high school sweetheart or whatever she is. You know, it's funny. They all talking about that young man need a prenup and all this old shit. Y'all don't know nothing about that young man's business, and you're not getting any information from anybody that really do know. Everybody just got to be relevant in other people's business. And everybody waiting to say the funniest shit and get the room for a few minutes. Everybody waiting to do that. Just start a podcast if you want to come in and have something to say about what people say all the time or want to be the heckler in the room. Why don't you start your own shit and see how it feels? See how it works out for you to say things and feel and put your opinions out there. And then you got the one heckler in the room. You know, you got the one person that no matter what you say, when you on a roll and you on point, they don't say shit. They don't agree with you. They don't say shit. They wait for you to say something that they don't agree with fully. And then they go in a whole nother direction and try to take care of all the credibility of what you've been saying the whole time. These are regular, messy chaos agents. That's what they do. That's their full-time fucking job. It's to be a chaos agent to other people. Those are the same people that I just totally ignore. I play like they ain't even here. I don't ban the only people that I ban are people that I know are troublemakers in a whole different kind of way. You can come in, disagree with me. I'm okay with disagreement. I don't care about that. But what I do care about is people that try to make things different outside of this. All right. And that's just some people I'm just not going to tolerate with. All right. But as far as people going to get anchors and going to get allies and shit like that, I've been dealing with that shit for 5 years. And what you don't understand is I'm from 1335 John Street down the way in Cincinnati. We built for people like you. We built for people like that. We've been getting hated on because one thing that people don't like is people that's from the mud, but they still shine and they still clean and they still handle their business. That's what a lot of people can't stand, because if they had to go through and do the things that we had to go through, they wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be here. So that's that. Anyway, Travis Hunter get hated on. I can't stand people that give him a hard time. Let that young man do what he do. Let him live his best life. It's his money. It ain't yours. It's his decision. It's not yours. It's what he wants to do in life. It's not your decision. It's not what you want. And stop living vicariously through superstars. That's why we don't know shit now. a lot of people want to try to say what they would do if they was them. All you got to do is go do what they do. Go try to be them and see what decisions you would make once you became them. That's all. It's just crazy to me that, I mean, I guess everybody has an opinion on what the young man should do and this and this and that. I can understand. There are some people that really genuinely have concerns about things, but they're not nasty about how they say it. Or they might say some things that might go in a direction of what they've experienced in life. And Travis, if I did this, I would. If I were you, I'd do. But there's some people that are actually being vicious and being really malicious to this young man. And I think the young man, even if what they saying is true and it will happen, he's going to need support. And it's kind of hard to joke on somebody and make them a clown and then try to come into the rescue and try to be some form of a support system. How does that work? How do you shit on somebody and then wipe their face and smear it in, talking about I'm cleaning you up? That's crazy. But there's some people that wake up every day to do that to people. They so concerned with other people's success that they try to take the credibility away. Like Travis Hunter is an amazing football player. We only know him as a football player. The only proof that we have of how good or how bad he's going to be is what he does on the field. What he does outside the field, there's never cameras there. We don't know his personality. You don't know that young lady's personality. Y'all don't know those folks. It's like people say things just to be, to actually be hurtful on purpose. They really want to say some things. And when I seen him get married, I seen a whole lot of, boy, he about to feel it and he didn't made this mistake. I didn't see that many congratulations. And my thing is, why would you? I sent one. I mean, he's on Twitter or whatever it was. And I'm like, congratulations, young man. Followed by, oh, he gonna get it. He gonna do all this. And then I'm like, wow. It's like, you have all that energy to be negative, but it takes less energy to be positive. I just didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. Last thing before I go, I want to show you this right here. This goes back to what that young lady said on the video some time ago. Check this little post out. I'm going to go to this post and then I'm going to be done. I promise you. This little post right here, I can't really read it that well, but this young lady right here, just like that lady that put out a video, here's the opposite of what we've seen in the video of the young lady who broke it down about women. Let me try to read this. I know it's going to be hard for a lot of people to see this. It's fairly long, so I'll do the best I can. It says, so I asked this guy out on a date and we went at it. We went and ate at a Mexican restaurant. So when we got so when we got done, the waitress gave us the tab. Excuse me, guys. Let me just do it off my phone. I can't see it on my screen here. So let me see if I can pull it up right here. I'll read it out. I'll read it to us. The young lady says, so I asked this guy on a date and we went out and ate at the Mexican restaurant. So when we got done, the waitress gave the tab to him and then he gives the tab to me. So I asked him, why is he giving the ticket to me? This man had the nerve to say he shouldn't have to pay for a date he was asked on. So we ate it. So we went, excuse me, hold on. Screw. So we went at the table going back and forth, and I called him a gay, a gay ninja, because what straight man would expect a woman to pay the tab? This man became real disrespectful and started calling me out my name, and then he just left. I was stuck paying the tab. Mind y'all, I had to call and ask my mom for the money because I didn't have it. What are y'all thoughts on this? And I guess the moral of the story, some of y'all may have seen this before, but the young lady asked him out on a date. She asked him out on a date. Ladies, is that how we doing things today? If you ask, and I'm just curious, I'll give you my answer of this. There's probably some single women in the building right now. I just want to ask you a question. If you ask a man out on a date, should you pay? If you go to a restaurant, should you pay? Y'all want to talk about this tomorrow? You guys want to talk about this tomorrow, maybe? I don't want to wear anybody out. I don't want to, burn out. Anthony Prosser said, Stephen Speed says, Anthony Prosser says, sounds reasonable. Yet if she came at me that way, I would pay, but she wouldn't get a call back. Okay. Twin says, I'm paying. Because Twin want to hit. I'm just playing, Twin. He'll call me tomorrow cussing and fussing. But anyway, all I'm saying is I've made this announcement here on the page. Miss Pittsburgh says no, he shouldn't pay. I've made this announcement on the page several times. My character, who I am as an individual. Donna says I would never do that, but if she asked. Sierra says I like sushi, so I'm definitely not paying. Dina says never leave home without money. I think her not having any money says a lot about her as well. And I don't mean in a way like, she's poor or broke or whatever. I think she has this idea. I don't have a problem with her wanting the man to pay. I really don't have a problem with it. This is going to sound kind of crazy because remember we had conversations here on the show, and I was like, whenever I ask one of my partners, if I ask a friend out to lunch, whether it's a guy or a girl, if I ask you out for lunch, I'm going to pay for it. I asked you to go out. I asked you, let's do lunch tomorrow. Let's do lunch next week. Put me on your calendar. Let's do lunch. That means it's on me. I'm not going to ask you to go to lunch. And then when the bill come, I don't even think I've ever done the split bill, because for me to go to lunch with you, there had to be some form of an invite. If I went to lunch with you and you invited me, I kind of expect you to pay for the lunch because I'm built like that. Like that's where I'm at mentally in my mind, the levels that we grow up to be on. But if I ask you, if I say, hey, Troy, man, let's chop it up next week, man. Let's go get some wings at B-Dubs on Thursday and watch the NBA playoffs. Let's go watch game 1, man. I got tickets, but I can't make it. So let's go to B-Dubs game 1 tomorrow night. Bro, that's on me. I invited you to come and watch the game with me at B-Dubs. We're eating B-Dubs. It's on me. If you invite me, vice versa, if you invite me, I would just say, hey, all right, cool. And I would anticipate you would do the same for me. If I see a female friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while and I say, hey, let's just go chop it up. Let's go to the brew house or whatever. If I invited you, I would pick it up. Now, if a young lady, let me just be honest with you and tell you this, guys. If a young lady, this is just my mentality. If a young lady asks me out on a date, this is how men should be raising sons. If a young woman asks me out on a date for lunch or whatever, dinner or whatever, and I'm single, if she asks me out, I'm not going to go out with her unless I feel like it's a potential situation. Reason being is because of this. I'm going to anticipate picking up the bill. If I don't think, LaDonna says I think she's wrong. Maybe so. But I'm a firm believer in traditional man type duties. I believe, look, here's the thing. None of these dudes on here could date any of my daughters, neither one of my daughters, because my daughters never pay for anything. I know this is going to be like, well, they're not supposed to, they with their daddy. My point is this. when the check come, they always pull it, they send it to me anyway. Like they sit it next to me because I'm obviously pushing off these vibes. Like it's my check. I got it. My wife, my 2 daughters, and they never pay for anything when we out. We go to the mall, whatever. I got it, or I won't go. If it's not on me, if y'all think I'm gonna hang out with y'all just to be, I don't do that. So if we go to dinner or lunch or breakfast or whatever, I always pay. So my daughters are now geared in that same direction. You see what I'm saying? Like they're going, I'm telling you, the men that they marry gonna have to be ready. They are absolutely gonna have to be ready. They're gonna have to be ready because I've set a standard for my daughters. That don't make them money hungry. It's just certain things that they're gonna have to do and understand that are gonna be necessity from a lady's point of view. There's just certain things, you know, they shouldn't have to bitch and complain about doing because that's to be expected. That's just how I feel about it. So if the young lady was to ask me out on a date, I wouldn't go with her unless I feel like it's a serious potential candidate for what I'm trying to do in life. I think a lot of y'all are looking at this from a different lens. I think women are saying she's wrong. Like Donna said, the girl is wrong. I haven't been able to read all the comments. Donna said that the girl is wrong. You know why I think you think that, Donna? It's because if a dude asked her to go out, you would expect him to pay for it, right? If she asked him to go out, the reason why you and this ain't gonna go over too well, Auntie. I'm gonna call you Auntie because I'm about to say something that you might take personal, but it's nothing personal. Y'all so used to dudes paying for shit, and you think that like y'all use a dude. Like I know girls that ain't never really that'll just use a dude. She got 5 guys in her life, and they all got a bill assigned to them. They all got a bill. They got one got the phone bill, one got gas, electric, one got the rent, one got the whatever school clothes for the kids, one got the car note, and she ain't really doing shit with them dudes. See, I think what happens is y'all think that if a guy is going, you know, I'm okay with using a dude. You're okay with, I think there's women out here that are okay using men to pay a bill and this and this and that, and they have no intentions of doing anything with a guy. Where I think when a man goes out with a woman, he might have intentions of doing something, but we're not in. I don't think men align themselves up with taking dates with women just so we can use them for a meal. That's not in our repertoire. Now, I wouldn't say that there's some men that haven't been designed that way these days, because you're talking about a lot of fatherless dudes that don't have any direction in their life. These are women beaters. Give me some of your check when you get home and don't work and all this. So there's a certain caliber man that is exactly like this young man that sat at the table with this young lady and said, this bill on you. You asked me to come here. I don't think that's a man's. Now y'all gonna get mad, especially fellas. I just don't think that's a man's attitude, because a real man ain't gonna waste his time with something that he can do for himself. Like, why would I go out with a woman that I know can't do nothing for me just so I can get a meal? So I wouldn't even waste my time going with a woman that I feel have no potential. We have nothing in common. We can't do. I don't see. I don't. And maybe that's not even the case, but that's how I see it. And if she's, I'm gonna say this. If she's valuable enough, or if she is, you know, if she has the potential to be Mrs. Wyatt or something of that nature, then I would go out. I would take that date. But if she's not that, I'm not going. I'm gonna tell her no. So we ain't got no problem of who gonna pay the bill. It just doesn't. But see, ladies, y'all, so you will go out with a dude just to get a meal because you know he gonna take you to Ruth Chris or some shit, and you have no intentions of doing anything with that dude. But a real man, I just don't think real men roll like that. I don't think a real man would be like, yeah, we're gonna go out. I know some dudes personally, grew up with a few, got some that I'm related to, that'll use a woman all the way up, use her credit card, max it out, and make her pay the over fee, overcharge. I know some dudes that'll do shit like that and have no intentions of treating you good. Once the bills are all the way sky high, he gone. I know dudes like that. But you know what? Those are not dudes that was raised a certain kind of way either. Anthony Prosser said, you adding stuff, Wyatt. Maybe they just know each other from class or something. Maybe so. Maybe so. But it didn't come off like that to me. It came off, she asked him out on a date. That's how it said it in there. Did I not read that part, AP? She asked him out on a date. Not no, we just happened to be walking down the street and seen this place, and she was like, come on, you can go in with me. Let's go in. We can go in there together. No, she said, she asked him out on a date. She didn't really say it that way. He said it. He said at the table, you asked me out here. You asked me out on this date. See what I'm saying? You asked me out on this date. So if I'm a fella and a woman, first of all, let me just say congratulations to the young lady. Maybe she was trying to use the dude. I don't know. I ain't going to look at it in a negative kind of way. I'm going to look at it from a perspective of maybe this girl is into me. Maybe, and can't you vibe on a woman, guys? Aren't you smart enough to know, like, okay, she want me to just take her out? Versus a woman that's genuinely trying to take you out because you might be a potential match for them. Y'all might be vibing or whatever. Y'all might be a good, in a good situation. And you accept this date because it's like, okay, she looks nice. She's well groomed and she has good personality. We might be able to do something. If I'm a man out here and see a woman that's like that, I'm going to, yes, I'll go out with you. And then I would show my value as well. Ladies, if you ask a man out, and y'all ain't going to like this, because most of y'all wouldn't ask a man out, which is ridiculous to me. It's not ridiculous. It's just not. I think that more women would get what they really want in life if you were ask for it versus thinking that it is what it is. Like you assume he's going to be right. You could tell a lot from a man if you were kind of like, not the aggressor, but if you were the one out front pushing and just being upfront and honest about how you feel and what you think about things, you would not go through as much disappointment because you're waiting for that man to be what you want him to be, and he just might not be that. So if a woman was to ask me out on a date and I seen like, okay, she's not really my type, but I'll take her money, I'll take her food, I'll do this and this and that. Ladies, you don't want a man like that anyway, right? But if you go to lunch or dinner with this woman because she asked you out, fellas, and when the bill came, $75 or whatever, I would pay it. I would pay it because I would know better than to go out with somebody that just wanted to go out with me just so I would pay the bill. I would already pick up in the conversation before I agree to go out with them. Nobody's just walking up to you, clear blue sky, saying, hey, you want to go to dinner? There had to be some type of pre-conversation. There had to get the let's get to know each other conversation before we agree to go to dinner, before an invitation is even given. So if I get a lady who's telling me all her business, yeah, I own a beauty salon and I'm doing this and I'm a mother of one, or I'm single and I don't have any kids and this and that. I'm in school right now. I'm getting to know this potential candidate that I'm going to go to dinner with if she asks or if I ask her. And if it's something that I think is worthy of my presence, if she's a good woman, then I would definitely probably accept her invite or invite her. Either way, a real man is going to pay that bill. See, a real man wouldn't go with her if there's no potential of anything. And if all he's trying to do is smash, let's just get it out of the way. If all he's trying to do is smash, well, then that's part of that trick shit anyway. All right, you got to pay that bill because you trying to get what you're trying to get out of it. Then it's it's an even Steven if you think of it like that. Think about it, because she wants something from you, you want something from her. Then y'all deal with that shit. But to be honest, if you're really looking for a mate, somebody that you can vibe with and y'all kicking it and it's going well, maybe the conversation at the table wasn't going well. And maybe she didn't say some things that come off like she's a gold digger. Maybe, it got to a point where he changed up. Maybe the young man really wanted to pay the bill. And then as he got to know her, he seen that she wasn't nothing, that he was going to be one of the five that's paying maybe the utility bill. Maybe that's what happened. I'm just speaking from the man that I am. I'm speaking from the position of the man who raised 2 daughters and what my daughters expect. And it's not that they expect men to take care of them. I've raised my daughters to choose men that were capable of taking care of themselves. See what I'm saying? Because you're not good for anybody if you can't do for yourself. Let me read a couple of these comments and then I gotta bounce, y'all. I got 9 minutes. I gotta get out of here. Where should I start? Oh, my sister Davis Denise been in here. I didn't even know that, sis. My apologies, Denise Davis. I'm sorry. Super hard if you got to invite a man on a date. Then he want princess treatment. Okay. See, y'all see how I told y'all me and my sister, we agree and then we disagree. I disagree with women who say that you have to be hard up or you have to be desperate to ask a man out. Let me just say this to a lot of women. Ladies, I get it. It's not a traditional thing to do. But there's a lot of very good men out here that just don't have the nerve, the courage. They haven't been very confident in that area of getting women. And you have to sometime, as a woman, I know this is difficult. It's a difficult starting point, but sometimes you have to initiate things. Okay, because some men aren't ladies' men. Ladies, all men, there's some guys. I was one of them type of dudes. I heard a lot of no's, but I heard it a different kind of way. I was not an assertive guy when I was a young guy. Like, there's girls that I grew up with that I probably wanted them to be my girlfriend and all that. I was never one of those dudes who would ask a girl to be my girlfriend. I mean, so it's not all men are built the same. And some men are afraid of rejection, that type of rejection, of being told, no, I don't really, And here's the thing. Even a man that doesn't really have that type of game, if you want to call it, he still don't know how to talk you into your no that really mean yes. I know that sounds creepy, but I'm saying, like, there's some men that can hear no in their head, but they don't hear that you just mean no at this moment, but maybe later, maybe some other time. They don't go far enough to really assert the move that's needed. And ladies, it might not be him that's losing. It might just be you. And I'm a firm believer that it's not against the rules. It's not a thirst trap. It's not thirsty for a woman to be interested in a man and for her to initiate the fact that, initiate you all going out. I don't think that's thirsty. I think a lot of men who really want somebody would actually be appreciative of it. I really think men who really looking for somebody. All right. I mean, really want to be, he's at that point where he's ready to settle down. He's with somebody. I mean, he's ready to be with someone. I don't think that that's a form of thirst from a woman when they initiate, I'd like to go out with you or something. Now, here's what I do think is thirsty. I think it's very thirsty for a woman to ask a man to marry them. I can't understand that. I would never want a woman to ask me to marry me. If he doesn't initiate that, then you're not the one. You're not the right one. Okay? That's just how I feel about that. If y'all been together a year or two and you asking him, he don't like you like that, sis. All right? It ain't that he's scared, because by the time y'all been together 2 years or so, he pretty much saying whatever he want to say, and the jitters of being around you are gone. All right? Tanika says, and this is so far back ago, but I'm gonna read it anyway. She says, some of y'all, not all, but because my husband would never. Okay, I'm so far gone out of that conversation. I don't know what that's pertaining to, or if she's talking to me. Ross says, that's them CK type, Wyatt. I make sure we got plans after we eat. I got you. Okay, AP, I read that when you adding stuff, Wyatt, maybe they just don't know. Just maybe they just know each other from class or something. Maybe so. See, let's try. I'm gonna try to catch up with the chat. Davis Denise said, "Oh wait a minute, Carolyn. Carolyn says, with what the hell is she asking dude out on a date any damn way? Where they do that at? I think you guys probably should do it a little bit more. I think women would. It's almost like, ladies. I know this is not going to be the best scenario. Okay, it's probably not going to be the best scenario. But when you go to a new car dealership, there are some fine cars on the showroom floor, right? Fine ass cars, Dwayne Rock Johnson cars on the showroom floor. They smell good, they look good, they shining. Everything is bright about them. They under the lights and they just look immaculate, right? You walk on that showroom floor and you see that nice black Benz over there with the drop top, AMG kit, the whole nine, and you say, that's what I want. I want that. You start walking towards that car, and here come a salesman who says, pardon me, ma'am, pardon me, I got the car just for you. And he walk you outside to a dusty ass car that you're not even interested in. Same type of Benz, looks okay, but it's outside in the sun. You got to cut the air on to get it started and all that. But what you've seen is what you really want. If you're not the type of person that's going to tell this salesman, this is not what I want that one in there, then you'll never get that one in there. I'm just saying, you have to be a little bit more assertive and be select. If you're going to be selective in men, then you should be the one that's selected. You can't be mad at the car salesman because he gave you the car outside because you might look like you fit in a certain budget. You know what I'm saying? You can't be mad. And then when you end up buying the car that you didn't really want, the car that somebody put you in, the car that selected you, you can't be mad that it ain't running the right way. You should have went after the car on the showroom floor that you really wanted. But you let somebody else do it the way they wanted you to have something. You can't be mad at people remember I told y'all in business, I've made my worst selections in life in business have been the ones that I go after, that I force myself into. The business deals that don't necessarily want me, but I want them. Same thing with men and women. I don't want to be with a woman that don't want to be with me. And I'm not going to force you to like me because I want to be with you. No, it has to be a mutual agreement, a mutual feeling. And I just think, quite frankly, and ladies, I hope you guys are not thinking that I'm trying to be on some other type shit. I'm just being honest with you. I just think that women would have a better opportunity of finding Mr. Right if you do the initiating of what it is. Because what happens is men don't have a lot of men, the worst man in the world is one that don't mind rejection. Oh my God. The worst, ladies, write this down in your playbook. I ain't called that one out in a long time. The worst man in the world, ladies, is a man that don't fear rejection. And a whole lot of us don't fear rejection. Because when you say no, in our minds, in a lot of men's minds, somebody gonna say yes. And the same shit he said to you, he gonna say to the next chick. He gonna keep going until he get a yes. But ladies, I just don't think that y'all move like that. I think that you would be a little bit selective. You would be methodical in your process of how you select a man. You would do it a hell of a lot better than men would do it. And I think if you really went after what you want, you would have more success at getting what you want. But when you sit back and wait for the pool of men to select you, I just believe that you're going to end up with a whole lot more bullshit in your life. and you're going to go through more men, and you not necessarily have to be sleeping and all that. I'm just saying you're going to be dealing with all these different attitudes, different mentalities, and different mindsets of men. And you're going to have all this, you're going to have all this different, different ideas of why men ain't shit, because you dealing with a bunch of guys that's choosing you. Remember I put that post out about a month ago? Y'all know I have an elephant memory when it comes to certain things. I put a post out about a month ago and I said, you should do the choosing. Don't be chosen. You choose, don't be chosen. That's in business, that's in life, that's in relationships. That's okay, Tanika. Let me see. Dwayne Larkin, what's up, bro? He says this is the exact reason that we have the problem we have. People who wait for others to make a move. Yes. And I just think there's some wonderful women. I know a lot of single women that probably would be really good for men. I mean, yeah, I know they're good women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know their personalities. I know what they really want to do and who they like. I know the things they like to do out there in the world. But you know what? These women wouldn't dare ask a man out. They wouldn't dare ask a man out. And that's why they're getting passed by, because some men, I know somebody, I think Tanika says, we don't like rejection either. I know. But sis, let me give you a little hint. And I know you're not, because you're married. Beautiful woman, handsome king. I'm just saying, in most cases, if a woman, if she has 10 encounters with men, if she asks 10 men out, 9 of them going. The one that ain't going, gonna tell you I'm married. That's the honest guy right there. I'm married. I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Most women, if you're a woman, if you're really classy, you're not going to step to somebody that's not on your level, or unless you just down for them dumb motherfuckers. But I'm just saying, most women who know what they want, if you step to 10 guys, I'm just saying in a year or two, whatever, if you were to step to 10 guys, 9 of them gonna go. Okay, 9 of them gonna go unless they got other reason not to, because maybe they gay, maybe they got a wife, maybe they got a situation going on in life. I don't know. The rejection won't be the same as the rejection that men get if you get rejected. All right, it won't be, nah, I'm cool, shorty, I'm good. Nah, I don't like, you don't really fit my type of swag, and you're not gonna hear the shit that guys hear. Okay, especially if you're a woman and classy, and you gonna be selective in what type of man you approach or that you talk to. It's not rejection if a man says, I'm sorry, sweetie, I'm married. That's not rejection. He didn't reject you. He did the right thing. But if he hits you with the shit that y'all hit men with, oh, no, your jeans and shit, no, I don't do dudes with braids, all this old shit y'all be talking, and this and this and this and that, you being rejected because of who you are and what you look like and all that. But for the most part, classy women can get what you want. A lot of classy women just aren't brave enough, or, they're not assertive enough to go after that king. You're a queen. You're beautiful, but you just have this thing of not really, you don't really want to face that. You don't really want to face that rejection, which no one does. Guys are just used to it. But now let's flip the coin. If a guy asks 10 women out, he's lucky if he get 2 or 3, at the max 3 to go out. He's facing 70 percentile of rejection versus a woman facing 10% of a rejection, maybe 20 at the max. But I think if women did their own selecting, see, what you're trying to do is you're trying to pick your poison when you allow men to pick you. Well, Floyd, he worked, but he worked sometime. Johnny, he all right, but he on and off sometime. Melvin and shit, I don't know. Melvin play too many games. I don't know where he be sometime. Ricky, I don't know, man. Ricky. So you got to pick out of these knuckleheads your best poison. These are all men that selected you. I think if you put yourself in a different position, be assertive. That don't mean aggressive. That just means take the fear out of, and this comes after understand. This comes after having conversations with men and filling them out. Denise Davis, y'all know my mama named Denise, so I always, it's just a special thing right there. Denise Davis says, not dating no man named Melvin. You think you're gonna take my mama out of here, Melvin? You think you're gonna just... Ladies, I know y'all don't agree with that, but there's a whole lot of things that your boy Wyatt say that y'all don't agree with. But you might want to put your seatbelt on and try it one time and see how life turn out. That's my time, y'all. Peace and love. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here. Wyatt Live. I'll holler at you.
LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care. You tell. I excel. They all fail. Gonna cocktail double L must rock the bell. You've been waiting and debating for oh so long. Just starving like Marvin for a Cool J song. If you cried or thought or died, you definitely was wrong. It took a thought plus a thought to create a along. Taking off, eat up now with the Cool J force. Specializing in the rhyming for the record, of course. I'm a tower full of power, wind, rain, and hail. Could create scratch the record with his fingernail. Rock the bell. The king of crowd rockers finally is back. My voice is your choice as the hottest whack. You ask who is it, just a wizard who ain't taking no crap. I'm rhyming and designing with your girl in my lap. My bass is kicking, always thinking cause you like it that way. You think it's plus a plus a step, but gonna rock you today. The creator on the fader, my right hand man. We rock the bell so very well cause that's the name of this jam. Rock the bell. Some girls jam and some girls won't. Cause I make a lot of money and your boyfriend don't. LL